would make it this far. They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitted for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this, go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing, keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big and right, cause it can get big and right, big and right, cause it can get big and right. Ay, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Ay, I can never let up even if you had enough. Ay, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat a submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk about the show. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play so. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing, keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big and right, cause it can get big and right, big and right, cause it can get big and right.
I already know we creeping into the building. We are creeping into the building. Salute to everybody who is here in the building. Clap it up for you guys. It's the end of the year, the last night of the year. Before we go into this new thing, great build. Today's show is going to be specifically about 2025, right? We're going to go over some of the best moments in 2025, shoot some awards out there, fighter of the year, knockout of the year, et cetera, moments of the year. We'll go over and just go ahead and recap what's happened in the new year, but also, speak about what we're looking forward to, expecting in the 2026. It's been a crazy year, man. Learning curve for your boy, step by step, taking this thing step by step, learning how to do this thing, but having a great time talking about the sport that I love and talking in a community that loves the sport as well. It's been a pleasure to do this, man, and we're looking forward to having many more years of this. And I thought to myself, I needed to do this the right way. Somebody who I look to, who I've been watching for a long time, ever since he was just doing little takes for YSM, right? Before he got his own platform and took it seriously himself, and to see him do his own thing, it was great to see him do it. He's one of the only people that was worthwhile watching for a while there, right? I think it's almost, the right way to do it, right? That somebody like that who I've looked to would hit me up, wish me a Merry Christmas, even though he don't know I don't celebrate Christmas. But, what was more important about the thought, right? That he reached out to me and said, you know what, we should do something. And I was like, oh, that's what's up, man. Greg want to do something. Anytime Greg want to do something, I definitely am down to do it, right? Because he's just so full of so much knowledge, the way he delivers it. He's built up his channel over, I don't know, a year and a half, I don't know how long it's been since he's been building up his channel, but it's grown exponentially. Probably one of the fastest growing content creators in the boxing space right now. Underrated, I believe, in so many ways, just underrated. Raw, to the point with it, funny as hell, but super knowledgeable from, obviously, the trainer perspective that he brings to the table, being that he works in the gym every single day, cultivating and grooming young fighters up to be the future stars of the sport. Also with his own background that he's had in the space as far as boxing is concerned, just a large lion's share portion of his life has been dedicated to the sport, and you can hear it every time he speaks on it. And I think that's what makes him such a big hit in the space. So, man, none better, right? For me personally, to want to sit with and recap the year and get some perspective from him on how he's seen the space, how he's seen the evolution of boxing. 2026 is going to be crazy. What he's looking forward to seeing and getting that opinion, it means a lot, man. So I say less and bring him up. You guys know who he is. It's your boy Greg Hackett in the building. Greg, what's good?
Clay, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's gotta be like that. It's gotta be like that, man. I don't think people know, but I don't think you realize. I'll be honest. I don't think you do, because you just got that type of energy where I don't think you realize how impactful, you know what I'm saying, you are in the space. I don't think you do. I'll be honest with you. I watch it. Now I told YSM that before, you know what I'm saying? Like, why isn't he, I told you the story, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's the whole thing about it. The humility, the humble energy in your humble nature just won't allow you to just get your head blown up. But you really look how much you've grown in here. But anyway, what's good, Greg? How you doing, man?
Man, I appreciate you. I feel better. I feel like I just won an SB or some shit.
Man, you might deserve one. You might deserve one, bro. I don't know. You might deserve one, bro. It's been quite a year for you, man. What a year it's been for you. We talking about one of these best of the years. I think you are. I'm serious. I think you're the fastest growing space in the I think you are, man. I mean, look at Fight Hub, and they all take an opportunity to speak with you if you're in the room, or if they can get access to you or quote you, or articles with Boxing News 24/7, whatever the hell their name is, they're quoting you. You done had a boxing match with a trainer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so many different ways you've impacted the sport, bro. You might need the SB, bro. You might need the SB, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's a matter of time, man. The chat going crazy. The chat's going crazy. But how's this year been for you in the space with your growth, and where you at right now?
I think this year was the year I started really paying attention to what people say, on the internet. But it's still hard because I don't really look for it. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to compete with anybody. I'm not looking to be like, yo, I'm the best. You know what I'm saying? I just talk shit. You know what I mean? But it's like you said, it's genuine shit, it's honest shit, you know what I mean? And I'm just having fun. This is something I've been doing since I was 12 years old. You know what I mean? So this part of it, the YouTube, the media, you know what I mean, it's new as far as me being actually involved, but I always understood it and I could see it, but I never really thought I would be, talking to people about it every day. You know what I mean? So it's a little different, but I like it. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to realize what you're saying, but it won't allow me to like start acting like, you know what I mean, I know everything, because I don't. And you're gonna learn every day in this sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with you. And I think that's what the people love. They love to talk to you. And that's one thing you do great, and something I need to improve on, right? Because I love to talk about the sport, but people like to talk to you because you just have a way of breaking down situations that make it clear for the average guy just to keep up with boxing. And I think because of that, you're probably one of the biggest needle movers in the space right now. I'm just being honest, right? Just because people get to understand what's going on in the ring through your content. They understand the dynamics, the science of what's breaking down. They understand the psychology of these fighters, whether it's you comparing something you've been through or you've seen, and you letting people know from like almost a ground level what's actually happening outside of all the semantics, you know what I'm saying? All that energy, you kind of get right to it. And that's what it's always been for me, man. So I'm definitely super interested in who stood out this year for you, fights that stood out this year for you, knockouts that stood out this year for you. You know what I'm saying? And we're in a bit of a transitional period a little bit, right? Like the sport is evolving a little bit. You got Zuffa boxing popping off in 2026. You've got, these promotional companies looking to still get their legs under them. PDC hasn't quite got their legs under them the way we thought they would, and that's a different conversation, but a fun conversation I'm sure we can have. Top Rank moved away, or ESPN moved away from Top Rank, or they both moved away from each other. Either way, we don't know where they're at yet, kind of waiting to see what's going on. And the Zone is making a bunch of changes. We're just trying to keep up. They raised their price up, but no pay-per-views, I guess. Golden Boy's contract is supposed to be into negotiations coming in the summer. There's a whole lot. And obviously, Turkey Al-Sheikh right in the middle of it, probably the biggest needle mover in boxing right now. Turkey Al-Sheikh just moving things in a certain direction. a lot of weird energy in the boxing space about Turkey's presence, right? The people are feeling good, people are feeling not so good. Everybody's quite, riding the fence a little bit, and then you got your straight up, indifferent naysayers who don't want to see none of it. So I'm super interested, man. I definitely gotta pick at your brain and see what you think about 2025, what's gone on. You've been covering it the whole year, right? Because now you're a content creator, you're a legitimate influencer in the space. You've been watching it, covering it week to week to week, speaking on how you're looking at it. And it's the end of the year. I think we're all interested in what you think about it. Shout out, by the way, I want to take a moment also to shout out to my guy, Bang, Fighting Words with Bang, man, who needs to be shouted out as well, because kind of like, you've taken him under your wing, I would say. I mean, I know you, once again, you're humble. You're not trying to see it that way, whatever, but
yeah,
you've taken him under your wing and he's grown into his own as well. I reached out to him a long time ago as well. He's somebody else who I wish is he home?
He might be. Let me see. I don't know if he's working, so he might be. Yeah, he should be. He should be. We gotta hit him up.
Hold on a second. Let me see here. Hold on a second. I'm gonna send him a message.
I definitely last night, you know what I mean, I let it be known, and earlier today on the live I did on Instagram, I let people know we was gonna be here. So he might be lurking.
I'm gonna send him a just in case. You never know.
Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, but yeah, that's another creator in the space. We might have some special guests coming in tonight as well, which will be interesting. We'll see. 2 specific people in the space, which would be crazy for me also, because the other 2 people that I'm not going to say anything unless they pop up super influenced me as well, right? Like, you are somebody who I always like to listen to just on your takes when you used to be there with YSM, but specifically there's 2 other people who also been there for me, answer my call and check on me the same way you sent me a message, and I appreciated that, by the way. And that'd be crazy to have all you guys on one panel. That would be wild. That would be wild
right.
for me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But
right.
It is what it is, man. 2025, man. Let's start it up, man, because we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about the year, and I definitely want to get into the new year, into new fights coming up and things of that nature. Let's start off right. Let's start off with the moments of 2025. Some key moments, I think, this year. One of the standouts being Terrence Crawford this year, I think, right? Terrence Crawford has stood out, made a big fight with Canelo Alvarez against all odds. I say Ryan Coogler needs to make a movie on this guy. You know what I mean? I think his story is super interesting, and I know you got a little thing going on with Ryan Coogler right now. You got this thing you're working on. I'm watching the show, so I know you're working on that. We're waiting on the debut of Ryan Coogler. We'll let you work on that, though. I ain't gonna put no pressure on you to put it out there.
Right.
But Terrence Crawford, you know what I'm saying? Defiant, right?
Yeah.
Defiant, hard-headed ass little Negro, growing up his whole life, giving his mama issues. She tried to pay people to whoop his ass because he was getting on his nerves. She couldn't get, nobody could do it, right? Yeah. Hard-headed, legitimately hard-headed, got shot in his head, and you know what I'm saying, and drove himself to the hospital. Fought against all odds. You got to be on this side of the street. You got to be on this side of the street. You're not worth this amount of money. You can't make this happen. You can't make this fight. Who do you think you are? The whole way through, just kicking holes in people's walls, stepping all over their white couches, being a pain in the ass. And he closes it up this year, right? He closes it up with a bang, and he retires. You know what I'm saying? And then he shakes it up some more right before he retires, right? Just a little before I leave, he kicks over a vase. And he pulls Mauricio's suit right before he walks out the door. You think he about done? He kicks over a vase. Where are you at, and how, from your standpoint, watching Terrence Crawford move throughout his whole career, retirement and all, how have you seen it from your eyes, and what do you think about it?
I mean, it's one of those situations where you have to respect it. You know what I mean? It's not even a decision maker. It's not even one of those things you toggle with back and forth. You just gotta respect what it is, because it hasn't been done. The reason it's so respectable is because most people in boxing, they don't get around the roadblocks. It's hard to get around them. You know what I mean? Especially when you're not in power and when you don't have the machine working behind you. So it's like, here's a guy who is from a place that's not even known for boxing. You know what I mean? He wins his way to a title, And everybody's like, never minding that because the guy he beat wasn't a so-called a big name. But he continues to fight. He goes up in weight, and he just keep doing it and finding ways to do it. And every time they found an excuse for him not to be great, he proved you wrong over and over again. He to the point where he gets all the way to Earl Spence fight, and it's like this guy isn't worthy. You know what I mean? He hasn't beaten anybody. They tried to really put that on his name. And then not only did he beat Earl Spence, he beat him in a fashion where it's like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Now we gotta say he's on drugs. Now we gotta say he's on PEDs. Something's not right. You know what I'm saying? He goes sneak and get a title at 54. You know what I mean? Now he does the incredible. He goes up to 68 and fights Canelo. Now, that fight he was already written off before, you know what I mean, he even signed the paper. So it's like this guy just never had a chance. And for that, you gotta love him alone. And I feel like what you said about Ryan Coogler, you know what I mean, studying his story and making a movie, I agree. That should happen. I mean, of this time, after Mayweather, definitely the greatest fighter of this time. You know what I mean? You gotta put him there. You have to, because it's nothing he hasn't done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%, man. And like I said, if Ryan Coogler, if you're watching this, I put in my bid for the word defiant for the name of the movie, because I think he is defiant, man. And yeah, man, he retires though, right, Greg? He retires, and in the space, some people feel like, I can't believe it, but some people feel like, oh man, there he goes. They're upset with the retirement now. Like, he can't make nobody up. Now he's retiring too early. 38 years old. Does what I believe is everything he could do in the sport. I mean, you're from Philadelphia, so I know you have a relationship with Jerron Boots Ennis' camp and team, you know what I'm saying? And we all know that was the big fight everybody wanted to see happen. Bud decides to move away from that, says, listen, man, salute to Jerron. I'm sure he's going to do his thing, right? But that's not for me right now. We're in two different eras. I'm trying to accomplish these other things. Do you feel any kind of way about the Boots fight not happening with Bud? I mean, do you feel like Bud owed Boots a fight, or, you know, this was, how do you feel about that whole situation?
If I think about it from a fan's perspective, I do feel some kind of way, only because the style matchup. You know what I mean? If Bud wasn't Bud, but it was the same style and accomplishments, but he just had a different name, I would feel the same way about anybody in this situation, because that's just a great fight. So as a fan, I feel like, damn. But as a fighter, as a coach, as a commentator, however you want to say, a media, you know, I feel like, damn, I understand. I understand, because he's been through a lot with this sport, and people don't understand. It's one thing to fight for what you want, but then it's another thing to fight for what you want and fight as a fighter. You just, as your career. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You gotta it's just so much you gotta go through. So I feel like, you know, he did exactly what he wanted to do in boxing. He did what what the game allowed him to do, and then he kicked, like you said, he kicked in some doors, he kicked some holes in walls. You know what I mean? And how could you be mad at him? I can't be mad at him. You know, I mean,
Right.
do I want to see that fight? Yes, I think that'll be a great fight. But at the same time, I can't be mad at the guy for saying, you know what, that's just, I'm done. I've been through a lot with this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I agree, man, and I agree with you from a fan's point of view, especially too as well. Boots was definitely one of the probably top 5 my favorite fighters in the game right now. Terrence Bud Crawford probably number 1. Boots is definitely in that top 5, right? I'm a big David Benavidez fan. You know, and you got these young fighters coming up there, but Boots is definitely one of those guys, man. But gonna build his own situation up. That being said, segueing into another crazy moment of 2026, everybody puts pressure on Jerron Boots and says, man, you're not calling out fighters. You're not communicating with the space. He doesn't like to do interviews if it isn't Jamil. He doesn't want to communicate. People are making moves for him, and he moved out of a Virgil Ortiz fight opportunity to unify at 147. He, doesn't fight Teofimo. He moves on to go fight at 154. He fights Usman Lima. Nobody's happy about that. They say this guy is a cherry pig. What is he doing? Everybody's up and down with him. But after the Usman Lima fight, maybe it was Eddie Hearn, maybe it was you, Greg. I don't know. Maybe you had a talk with Boots and you ain't telling us. Whoever talked to Boots, though, Boots had to change of heart and decided he was going to start taking a step forward into his own career. And Virgil Ortiz goes and he has a fight with Erickson Lubin, who pops up in the building. Crazy moment. I don't even know if we expected it to be as impactful as it was, but Jerron Boots Ennis walks inside of the ring at the end of a victory, first or second round knockout. I don't remember what it was with the Erickson Lubin situation.
Second
and
round.
he has this crazy face-off with Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah.
This right now, all of a sudden, becomes one of the biggest fights that could be made in boxing. I think if you're a hardcore boxing fan, you knew that this was something that needed to happen, but it seemed like it crossed over into the casual space, right? Where people saw this and jumped on it. And now it seems like one of the biggest fights that could be made in 2026. A lot of people are hoping, crossing their fingers and hoping that this fight can be made. How'd you feel about Boots showing up in Texas and making that happen?
I think it was definitely great for him and great for boxing, because we saw this kid step out of his element, his natural element, where he just like to sit back and whenever he get a name, you know what I mean, he step up to the plate. But now it's like, you know what, maybe I do need to go out there and put a little bit of pressure on. And he did a good job at it. And I thought that would be enough to make the fight happen, but obviously, you know, Golden Boy and Virgil and them, you know, they having some issues with deciding on what they want and how they want to go about it. But I'm glad Boots did it, because now we see the issue isn't on his side, it's on the other side. So, you know, they got to figure something out. I like it though.
Was it a little bit of, I have a feeling I know what this answer is going to be already, but I definitely got to ask you, was it a little relief from you being somebody who supports Boots, right? And you always say this, listen, man, I don't know what's going on over there. I just talk to him from time to time. I don't even ask him those kind of questions when I'm around him. I've heard you communicate pretty much telling everybody, don't ask me. I'm outside just like you guys are, but always been a big supporter of Boots, and rightfully so. One of the best, a future pound for pound fighter in the game. So definitely that's where you're supposed to be. And you're from Philadelphia, but as a fan and as somebody who knows Boots, and you're building content in the space, you're hearing all the nonsense going on out here, and you're trying your best to defend him and put some perspective. But how did it feel to see Boots give you something like there? Was there some relief from you to see him do that face-off? Was that something you really wanted to see him do at some point?
Man, listen, it was two things he did this year that I felt like was the best thing ever. To go get the Canelo work, that was one, because he got out of his element as far as sparring and the gym, and he traveled to California and he got that work. I thought that was great. And then the jumping in the ring with Virgil and telling Virgil, listen, the time is now. It's no better fight. Why not make the fight? Listen, that was the best thing to do for him, because like I said, everybody think it's him not wanting to fight these guys when it's the other way around. And we actually watched it in real time, because Virgil himself said, you know what, this is the fight to make. But then he got out of the ring and he brought Earl Spence out of nowhere. It was all of a sudden, it was my dream fight is Earl Spence. And I guess we were supposed to care about that. Now listen, I like Virgil a lot. I think Virgil is a great fighter, but that fight does nothing for him right now. The man who got in the ring and you did a face-off with, that's the fight for you. So, you know, what are we waiting for?
100%. I agree with you 100%, man. That's definitely something to look forward to in 2026. You're right, man. It looks like the problem seems to be on the Golden Boy side. They seem to be not satisfied with a bunch of things. Oscar's been weird, to say the least. 2025 has been a very weird year for him as he's dealing with a lot of things as well, I guess. But we got to wait and see what ends up happening. But that was definitely one of the biggest moments in 2025. I got a bunch of them, but I'm only picking my top 4 because I got like a legit 10 moments. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm picking the top 4 that I can figure out. Here comes another one, man. We're going to segue into this moment right here, the knee. And we'll call it the knee, right? But let's dive into it. Gervonta Tank Davis, the people's face of boxing, I'm going to say, because Canelo Alvarez to me is the face of boxing, was the face of boxing. I think Terrence is the face of boxing now, but was the face of boxing. But Gervonta Tank Davis has always held a certain place in a lot of hearts of fans in boxing, right? And it's been kind of weird at times to see how it goes, but nonetheless to say, a celebrated fighter, an exciting fighter. When he's inside of the ring, you can't turn away. You just want to see him fight. And he has his fight this year. But before the fight, in the build-up to the fight, Gervonta all of a sudden becomes disenchanted with the sport. He's talking about retirement. He's talking against making the fights that the fans want to see as far as Shakur Stevenson's concerned, or Teofimo Lopez, or any of the names that we could think of that we want to see him in the ring. He's become very indifferent with the space. Even his own fans, you know what I'm saying? Just really not feeling the game. But he puts his fight together. Lamont Roach, 130-pound WBA champion. No, a lot of people, I think most people saw that as some sort of a cherry pick, even though Lamont Roach is a decorated fighter and deserves all. I hate to even use that word with Lamont because Lamont's really a great fighter. But the whole idea behind pulling him up from 130 pounds when there was so much going on in his own division that people were actually interested in, I think the space started to feel some kind of way with Tank. Anyway, this fight happens, right? This fight happens, and the famous knee. He takes a knee. He says something gets in his eye. He goes to his corner. He gets his face wiped off. The referee doesn't give him the 10 count. Started to give him the count, but doesn't officially give him the 10 count. This fight ends up in a draw, right? A lot of mixed feelings behind this. I think most of the space felt like that should have been a knockdown, but just Gervonta Tank Davis up until that point, where were you at when you saw that? How did you feel about it? Well, first of all, how did you feel about the Lamont Roach fight being put together?
Well, for one, I knew the fight would be a great fight because, not just the relationship between the two, but Lamont can actually fight. You know what I mean? And a lot of these people, they gave him a lot of shit for taking that fight. But I was trying to stress during the buildup, like, yo, this is gonna be a good fight. You know what I mean? Not only do they know each other, not only have they shared the ring with each other, Lamont just can flat out rumble. You know what I'm saying? In or outside. So it's just for me, I thought it was a great matchup. And then after seeing it, I thought it was a great matchup.
Right. Me too. I thought it was a crazy. What about when he took that knee?
Okay.
And you watching that moment, in that moment, he takes that knee. In your mind, if you can remember at all, what were you thinking? And what were you thinking like when that happened?
So when I first saw it, to me, it looked like he had got caught with a jab in his eye, and I seen him like winking and like squinching or whatever, and he wiped at his face, and then next thing you know, he going down. So I'm like, whoa, that's a knockdown. And I see the referee counting, and then I see Tate run to the corner, get his face wiped, and then he like, I had something in my eye, and I'm like, but you can't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So right then and there, when I saw the referee stop counting, I'm like, that's the politics side of the game. People really need to understand that when you go up against a Tank Davis, you're not just fighting Tank Davis.
Yeah. It was definitely a crazy moment, and more happens later on in the year. But I thought that was a crazy moment in 2025. You know what I mean? One of the moments. And last but not least, some people might sleep on this moment. I don't know how you felt about it, but Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua just goes by, right? We just saw it. This moment was, in my opinion, a very big moment in boxing, right? I thought I was one of those people who was cheering on this fight happening because I really thought Jake Paul was the last box that needed to be checked. And why? I felt like he was getting accolades as the face of boxing, right? He was getting all these, and it was kind of I like to consider myself a real boxing fan. That was annoying. To say that Jake Paul was a face of American boxing when you got Terrence Crawford, who just did what he did with Canelo Alvarez, when you've got a young Abdullah Mason doing what he did, going across and becoming the youngest champion in the world, when you've got David Benavidez stepping out of his comfort zone and doing what he did in Riyadh season and what he's talking about doing moving forward. There's so many fighters we could talk about here in America as far as the face of boxing, but this YouTuber turned boxer, professional boxer, becomes the highest gross pay. He's the payday for everybody. And then he kind of you don't cherry pick Gervonta Tank Davis, but it just got weird. That whole entire situation. I was excited when Anthony Joshua signed up for it. Even though I don't rate Anthony Joshua like other people do all the way. I do rate him, but he's in a different place in his life right now. I definitely knew he was going to carry out the mission I thought needed to be carried out, which was the Jake Paul nonsense needed to be stopped. The fight gets put together. What did you think when you heard of the announcement of Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul getting put together this year in your mind?
I automatically felt a lot better. You know what I mean? I felt a lot better about boxing because the fact that Jake Paul is clearly like 70 pounds bigger than Tank Davis, I just thought that was like why are we doing that? You know what I mean? So when I heard that the fight was going to be Joshua, for one, I didn't think it was real. I had to wait until the actual date to see it happen. Once I saw it happen, You know what I mean? Automatic history in Black history. I mean, automatic Black history moment. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Right away. That's how I took it.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I mean, I don't think people realize what it was, but you kind of summed it up great. Like what you just said, that's how it felt to me too. Even though Anthony Joshua was not from America, but yeah, man, it was great to see a black man kind of, you know what I mean, set things right for boxing a little bit, right? In the punch heard around the world, the jaw heard break around the world, two different places. You see that happen. Did you see that punch being impactful like that? Did you see when he got hit? Were you like, oh, bad news? Like, did you see that?
I didn't think the jaw was broken, but it was a very clean shot. I definitely saw the shot, and I was like, all right, that might be it because you know what I mean. He's not trying to get hit like that no more. Now,
Right.
Jake, he seemed like he took the shot well, but when he said, I think my jaw's broken, I thought he was bullshitting because
Right.
he was speaking real clear. You know what I mean? But then when I actually saw like the X-rays and stuff like that, I was like, you know, mission accomplished. That's how it go.
That's
The
part of the
game.
game, man. It could have
That's
been worse,
boxing.
right?
Yeah, that's boxing. Could have been worse.
Right, he could have got hit in his temple with that shot or something. Maybe he would have, you know, been trying to remember, you know what I'm saying, where he was for the last 2-3 weeks. So, yeah, I thought that was a moment. So I'm going to ask you the big question. We have 4 events that I brought up. We brought up Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. We brought up the Jerron Boots Ennis getting in the ring with Virgil Ortiz. We brought up Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, and then we brought the knee saw across the world. In your opinion, moment. If you had to give an award between those 4 guys for moment of the year, which one do you think stands out for you?
That's tough, Clay.
I tried to make it tough. I tried.
That's very tough. I'm gonna be real though. I think you got to give it to Bud because all eyes was against him. He just was too small. His weight class is for a reason. You know what I mean? There's no way he can handle Canelo's power. Gamboa hurt him. So there's no way that, you know what I mean, Canelo, he'll be able to last with Canelo. Not only did he beat Canelo, he beat him convincingly. Not only did he beat him convincingly, he outboxed him. He sat inside with him. He caught punches. He countered. He just did a little bit of everything. He did everything except knock Canelo out. And guess what, man? That was enough for me. So I think it goes to Bud Crawford for sure.
Yeah, man. I think so too. I think that was definitely a moment of the year. And plus 70,000+ people inside of an arena. You know, the pay-per-view sold like 41 something million. I think it's the second largest boxing event in America. Just made sense, you know, for somebody, once again, defying the odds. He doesn't sell. He's not a big star. He's not worth this much. He can't go up and fight Canelo Alvarez. The power is going to be, you know what I mean? Just all the different things that came up. You got to give that moment was a moment, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of showed some life in American boxing, I think, as well. Almost, it seems like he may have blazed a trail a little bit because it seems like a lot of fighters all of a sudden want to challenge themselves, right? You know, you seen Shakur, I think right a week or 2 later was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You know, I want to fight Conor. You know what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden, everybody want to challenge themselves. And I think American boxing needed that jolt, man. I definitely agree with you. I think that's moment of the year, man. That being said, though, given that the moment of the year, we got 4 candidates for, we got actually 5, but I got 4 real ones and a 5th honorable mention fight of the year candidate. One of them being Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Another one I believe, you know, that I have on a list is David Benavidez versus David Morrell. I thought that was a fight of the year candidate. I know some people might sleep on it because going into it, David Morrell wasn't experienced, et cetera. But I think for me, it felt like this was when I saw David Benavidez take his career into his hand, right? Remember, I believe you have a close relationship potentially with the guy who was supposed to fight in the beginning in Jesse Hart, right? And he cancels that. He makes he said, I'm done with this. I'm done with the handling. I'm done with the perfect matchmaking. Everybody thinks this is a game. Canelo is moving around saying, I don't bring nothing to the table. He makes a move. He reaches out and he makes his fight with David Morrell happens. And the whole world is like, finally, we're seeing something happen here, right? We're seeing something happen here. Another fight that was that's on there for me was the Christian and Billy, right? Martinez fight, right?
Yeah.
Christian, that was a fight that was just a shootout, crazy fight.
Yeah.
Then we also have Brian Adams and Bohachuk, right? Which I thought on that card was also a great fight.
Brandon Adams. Brandon,
I said Brian, sorry. Brandon Adams, thank you. And then I think Dimitri Bivol, better BF2, was was a great fight. I know people might feel how they want to feel, but I thought Dimitri put on a real clinic. So let's start with the we already talked about Crawford and Alvarez. We don't need to get into that fight so much. I mean, unless you want to, as far as get into the fight about what it was about that fight that stood out for you. Is there something you want to share more on that fight? Or
I mean, the biggest thing that stood out to me was how comfortable Crawford was in that fight.
Mhm.
And I mean, he handled everything well. He handled the power well. He handled the skill set of Canelo well. He handled the speed. Everything was there. And I was just, captivated by that part. The fact that he was just relaxed through the whole experience.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. He just showed that. I remember one time Crawford said, whenever they ask him about, is this going to be your biggest challenge? And Crawford always says, I don't know. Until I get in the ring with him, he's like, it'd be the guys you think is going to be the hardest fights, that'd be the easiest fights, and the guys you think is going to be the easiest fights that end up being the hardest fights, right? And we saw that with Madrimov, a fight where people wrote off Madrimov, but probably was one of Terrence Bud Crawford's most competitive fights. You know what I mean? He had, the Gamboa was a good one too as well, but that one seemed to stand out, especially right before the Canelo Alvarez fight. But he made it seem like there's levels to this game. And he showed you that it's not just about punching power. There's a sweet science. Skills pay the bills, and if he's not better than me, he's not going to beat me just because of whatever story you have in your head. I thought that fight was great too. Benavidez versus David Morrell. This fight right here. I'm going to ask you first of all, going into this fight, because I think you're a Benavidez fan. I think you like Benavidez. I feel like I've heard you talk like that before, but David Morrell was an opponent who was going to take away a lot from David Benavidez. Same height, maybe even a longer arm reach, if not the same reach. He brought that amateur background style. He was a skilled fighter. He was knocking everybody out at 168. They had the history at 168 where people felt like David Benavidez was kind of almost ducking him, which I thought was hilarious. But people were trying to paint this picture, and here it goes. It's about to happen at 175. Going into the fight, what were you thinking about going into the fight? How'd you feel about it?
I mean, first of all, I appreciate both of the fighters stepping up to the plate. They didn't have to do that for us, you know what I mean? Especially at a new weight class. You know what I mean? They could have kept saying that they wanted to acclimate to the weight class and use excuses after excuses, but they got right to it after each one of them made their light heavyweight debut. Now, the thing is, I already thought that Benavidez was too aggressive for Morrell's liking, Morrell, very athletic, but at the same time, he has a spoiled style where at that point he was used to guys, let him do what it is he does. You know what I'm saying? So I had no doubt that Benavidez would win, but the action in that fight and the pace of that fight was, I was like kind of glad that Morrell kept up with him. You know what I mean? He didn't overcome the situation and he didn't win the fight, but he was able to keep up. And that just made me feel better about both guys, but it also showed me how dominant David Benavidez is,
Yeah, 100%. It definitely did. I think it made a statement, also kind of answered a lot of questions. Anybody who was doubting him, kind of showed what he was here for. And that, at that point, you kind of expected him to continue to move. And, we've seen him actually continue to do that in his career right now. And I think he's one of the potential breakout stars of 2025 going into 2026. I think, like I said, American boxing just needs these kind of fighters who are willing to make these kind of fights, who are willing to do those things that need to happen. And David Benavidez, somebody who got in front of it. And some might even say is leading the space in that right now to a certain degree, as far as not waiting for nobody no more. Now he fought Anthony Yardy, dominant performance there, which was crazy. That was also a potential fight of the year candidate I had on here as well. But I thought the David Morrell one was more significant because it was like the first fuck this shit fight that David Benavidez made, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done with my handlers. I'm done with Samson's advice to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I need to do for me in my career.
Right.
Christian Mbili and man, what's Martinez's first name? What the hell's going on here? Lester, right. Lester Martinez. This fight, if you watch boxing and you watch Christian Mbili and you watch Lester Martinez, you knew the potential, right, behind this fight. You understood the potential of what could happen in this fight. But dare I say, Christian Mbili showed me a lot in that fight. I didn't think the conditioning was going to last the way it did. I thought that was crazy. And to a degree, he was kind of running on fumes, but man, he left it all in there. Lester Martinez, who I consider the more skilled out of the two, coming out of the Terrence Bud Crawford camp. I think he's pretty much one of the people who's getting Terrence Crawford ready for
Right.
Canelo Alvarez, pretty much. Styles make fights, right?
Yeah.
Styles make fights. Going into this fight, what were you thinking about?
I like Lester Martinez. I actually felt like it was too early for him. So I also feel like he graduated in that fight. I say graduated because there was nobody on his record,
Mhm.
beforehand like a Christian and Billy. So for him to go in there and handle it the way he did, yeah, he didn't look his best, but he showed that, I'm down. If you want to fight, you want to lock ass, we could do that. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with that. And I thought that was the most impressive part on his behalf. But like you said, and Billy, even though we know he usually gets his way and we don't really get to see him go the distance all the time, you know what I mean? To see him go the distance and bite down on his mouthpiece and continue to fight, that was impressive as well. I even kind of thought and Billy won the fight. I thought he won the fight. But they called it a draw. I couldn't be mad at that because both guys, you know what I mean, went in there and gave it their all. And I know for a fact Lester Martinez gave it his all because that was his first time in a fight of that magnitude.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. And ending in the draw, I was okay with it as well, man. I didn't know who to say won it. I was calling that fight. I literally put my pen down. I was calling it. I put my pen down and pushed my pad to the side, and I stopped scoring it. I just didn't even want to score it anymore because it was just crazy to watch, and I don't know how. I didn't know how to score it. I'm not a professional scorer. And
Yeah.
that fight right there exposed me to a certain degree because I'm like, I don't even know what to look at in this fight. It was so much craziness going on. And Billy smothering Lester Martinez every chance he could. Martinez tried to let his hands go, try to find some work on the inside that he could do, try to make some space, but then Billy wouldn't let it happen. But Martinez was hitting with some clean shots as well. Obviously, Lester Martinez was getting hit with clean shots. I don't know, man. It was a crazy fight, but man, it was a fight that really set that card off. You know what I mean? So I had to get it on the list here. Brandon Adams and Boachuk.
Yeah.
This
I
was a
think,
sleeper.
yeah.
This one came out of nowhere, in my opinion. No?
It did because Brandon Adams knocked him out in the first fight.
Exactly.
So it was like, why are they fighting again? But
Did you give Boachuk more of? Did you go into the second fight feeling like, okay, he's more experienced now. He's been in the ring with Virgil. He's been in the ring, making these fights happen. Brandon's been kind of like doing his thing. Did you expect him to kind of move the needle on this one and take that victory? Did you expect Brandon to still be like, I got your card, bro. You just not gonna ever beat me?
a little bit I did. A little bit I did because he had fought better caliber fighters than Brandon had been fighting after their first fight. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
maybe that would have given him a little bit of an edge. But at the same time, there's something about Brandon Adams that gives Boachuk plenty of problems. So I wasn't surprised.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised on how masterful Brandon Adams put on that performance. Was very masterful to somebody like a Serhii Bohachuk. I thought it was a great fight. And then Dmitry Bivol or Turbedeviev too.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that fight?
I feel like we need a third one.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's split. It's 1-1. You know what I'm saying? I thought Beterbiev won the first one, and then the second one, Bivol, he pulled off a little bit. He let his hands speak a little more. He took some shots. You know what I mean? And he handled himself well. And I feel like when it's two guys like that, man, big guys like that, with the auras they have, I feel like it's only right you do it one more time.
Wow, because it's hilarious. The space really pushed back at it because, we saw what Mauricio did with Dmitry Bivol, which I thought was crazy, and that's a sanctioned body conversation with how the WBC's been moving. But a lot of people were just like, nah, get over that. We don't want to see it. Put David Benavidez in there. They all wanted to push it. They didn't want the third fight. I was okay with the third fight, as far as I'm concerned. I thought I'm kind of in the same place as you. But I'm kind of shocked that you thought that. I thought, I thought that you would have more wanted the Benavidez fight. It is what it is. So look, we got 5 fights. We got Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez versus David Morrell. We've got Christian and Billy versus Lester Martinez, Brandon Adams versus Serhii Bohachuk, and we've got Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. 2 fight of the year.
Yeah.
Is there a fight of the year that's not on here that you think really should be the fight of the year on here?
Yes,
Which
sir.
one?
Abdullah Mason, Sean Noakes.
You think so?
Great
I was
fight.
thinking about putting it on here. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was thinking about putting it on here, but I didn't because I speak on it. That's a great fight, man. That was a great fight.
So the reason I think that's my favorite of the year is because Abdullah Mason he's a young man. He's very young. Not only is he a young man, he's a man that, we've been talking about him, but he hasn't had that signature win, right? But he's always dominant. In his very first, I feel like, real step up, you fighting a guy he's taking no shit. Sean Noakes, he didn't come to play. You know what I'm saying?
Sam Noakes was he undefeated going into this?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, this is going to be. I wasn't worried for Abdullah, but this was one of those situations. I'm like, damn, I can't wait to see how he gonna handle this. You know what I mean? Because I knew Sam Noakes was heavy-handed in both hands, and I knew he wasn't about the nonsense. He'd come in to fight. Now, watching the fight, close calls all the way through, because Abdullah do good here and there, and then here come Sam Noakes. Abdullah get back on his horse, here comes Sam Noakes. You know what I'm saying? It was just a hell of a fight. And he took a lot of shots. He did. He took some good shots.
Right.
And it let me know he's not only skilled, he has the spirit of an old school fighter. So I had an old school feel when I was watching that fight. And I grew so much respect for Sam Noakes. And I highlighted that as my favorite fight of the year for sure.
So that's the fight of the year. So we're gonna add him to the list. Is that where we're going? We're gonna with the other fights and fight of the year?
For me, yes.
Hey, it is what it's about you today, Greg. You know what I'm saying? You're the guest of honor. So and I ain't mad at that. I honestly had a moment where I wanted to put it on there, but I'm like, you know what? It was his first 12-round fight. There was a lot of there was a criticism of Abdullah Mason in that fight. And you know what it reminded me a little bit of? Just a little bit. Jerron Boots Ennis versus Karen, the second one. And it, like Jerron caught a lot of criticism in that fight, right? But still won, but people felt like he got hit too much. And they felt like it was too much of a melee. And that's the kind of feeling I got from the people reacting to that fight. But I think it was all out. It was kind of like a Christian and Billy Lester Martinez, but way more skill. More skill involved in it. So I liked it, man. I liked it. I'm not shocked you brought it up, but I'm kind of shocked that you brought that fight up, man.
Yeah, that for me, that was my number one. And after the last bell, I made that decision. I'm like, I don't care who fight after this. Like this got to be the best fight of the year for me.
Wow. Okay, man. It is what it is, man. Sam Noakes, Abdullah Mason, fight of the year. Let's go ahead and move into well, we got so many though. Let's go into breakout star of 2025. I've got 6 people on the list. I'm going to tell you who I've got. I've got Abdullah Mason.
Okay.
I've got Abdullah Mason on the list. I've got Lamont Roach. I think he made a big name for himself this year with that fight with Gervonta Tank Davis. I got a fighter who maybe it's just me. I'm looking forward to see what this guy does in the next year, 168. That's wide open right now. Potentially might be the best fighter in 168, right? Who knows? Hamza Shiraz. Hamza Shiraz, I thought, had also in the comeback of the year conversation when we look at the way he performed with Carlos Adames, comes in there, puts Edgar Berlanga in his pockets, gets him out of there, dominates. And with the backing he has with Turki Al-Ashi, I'm expecting a lot from him this year. Moses Atauma, who's always been kind of doing his thing, but the heavyweight division just seems like he's the leader of the pack outside of Alexander Usyk, right? Seems like everybody's looking, and he's just left prospect, wet behind the ears, young bull. You wouldn't even think he was that young, but I just think he's jumping out and potentially breaking out this year. David Benavidez, right? I think David Benavidez had a breakout year as well, and this guy was part of maybe one of the biggest upsets of the year, but man, just brings so much energy into the heavyweight division, makes it that much more interesting. I thought Fabio Wardley deserved to be on this list, right?
Right.
Fabio Wardley kind of did it. So we got Abdullah Mason. I thought his move to becoming a champion was crazy.
Yeah.
Super active the year before, going all the way up until that point. They were definitely trying to fast track him. Couldn't get the rounds in. Just kept getting rid of these opponents. Faced a little bit of adversity. Got put on his pockets when they thought it was the Johan Vasquez, right? Got put on his pockets, but won that fight as well. But all of a sudden found himself in a 12-round fight for a vacant WBO title. Keyshawn Davis losing that title on the scales. Great story, great build-up, and he delivers on that night. I don't know, man. Breakout year for him, he may have it. Lamont Roach came out of nowhere. 130-pound WBA champion, gets an opportunity to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, shows the world Gervonta can bleed. He made the face of boxing bleed, right? Not literally, but just making him take the knee, making him go through all that, being part of that. And then he just had a fight also as well with Isak Pitbull Cruz that went to it. He's like the draw king now, right? Like he's just going. And I think you called it. I think you told people to put a little money on the draw. You kind of saw that as a possibility for him. Lamont Roach, Hamza Shiraz, I done told you already, 160. Tried to make it happen. Thought he was going to become a champion. Went to challenge Carlos Adames. Had the home field advantage. Carlos Adames put on a masterclass on him. He gets a gifted draw. Most people know he lost that fight. He gets in the ring with Edgar Berlanga, Puerto Rico's own big puncher, knockout, 17 first-round knockouts for Edgar Berlanga, and he just shows there's levels to this game and almost exposes Edgar Berlanga, right? Gets him out of there. Looking forward to see what he does. And Moses Atama just put Dillian White out of there, got him out of there inside of the first round, whatever it was, and he's been on this run for a while now. Now he's in the conversation. People actually want to see this guy fight Alexander Usyk, which I think is crazy, but I get it. Because when you see somebody performing like he does, where else can he go, right? Because if you don't see nobody else doing the work, but at the same time, it's like, what a jump up. I don't think that's the next fight for you, but he's in the conversation. David Benavidez, we talked about him earlier. He takes his career in his own hand now. We're seeing a way more vocal, aggressive David Benavidez. We're seeing the boss, David Benavidez, being in charge of his career. He even took the moment to move out of his comfort zone of working with he's still working with the PBC, but as far as working on PBC cards, and goes to Riyadh season and makes a big fight he can make with Anthony Yard. Great performance. And we're expecting more from David Benavidez. And like I said, Fabio Wardley, man. Is there a breakout star of 2025 that you want to add to the list that's not on this list right now?
The one that I want, first of all, I love the list. That's first of all. And second, the pick out of that list for me would be Lamont. Why? Because he was champion at 30, stepped up to 35 to fight Tank. He was supposed to get knocked out. He went in there and let the world know, listen, I can fight. All right. They sent him a bigger test because it's a meaner guy. Style-wise. Pitbull Cruz. He was supposed to get his ass beat. He went in there and handled business. Ended up with a draw against two mean fighters, two great fighters. So out of that list, I'm giving you Lamont Roach. But the guy I was thinking of, because I feel like he don't get the respect he deserves because of the weight class, Ben Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. You're right, man. And he's in the biggest conversations right now, man. Everybody wants to see him against Monster. Are you with the Monster fight? Do you think it's too soon for him, or do you think he's about ready for the Monster fight?
I'm not a big fan of the Monster fight, but I understand because at the smaller weight classes, we're not paying enough attention and we don't really know who's who. But out of the best guys, we know Bam is one and we know the Monster is the other. So I can see why people want to see it. And I want to see it too. But I don't think right now we need it. But if it happens, I'm definitely front row.
You think Bam pulls it off? You think he's ready right now to beat Monster in the way? Or does he need a little more?
The skills are there. The skills are there. Has he ever been punched by a guy like in your way? I don't know. But I think the skills are there. The mindset is there. The mentality is there. The physical is there. I think he just would have to put the pounds on. It'll be a great fight. I can say that. I don't know who wins, but I can say that. But me picking him also to be, breakout of the year is because if you look at the list of guys he's been in there with some sturdy guys. You know what I mean? Now them looking the way they look versus him, I'm not responsible for that. I don't have, you know what I mean? But the man looked great, you know what I mean? And I just have a huge respect for his style. But I can't disrespect Lamont Roach because Lamont Roach has been against the world his last two fights.
Right. So Lamont Roach, Bam, if you had to pick one though between those two right now and give it to him, between Bam and Lamont, man, breakouts, not who's the better fighter, the breakout star of 2025. Who would you go with?
I think I would go with Bam, man. I like what he's been doing. I like because I like the fashion he works in. You know what I mean? Even if he get it done quick or he get it done in the later rounds, he gets it done. You know what I mean? Lamont, yes, you letting the world know that you one of the guys, but you're not finishing these guys. So
Right.
for the for the fact that Bam is finishing these guys, I like Bam.
Yeah. I can see that. I like that one. I like Bam. I like Bam, man. So what's the next one, man? Let's go for it, man. Let's do it, man. Let's do what everybody loves in boxing. What everybody loves in boxing, right? Somebody maybe y'all thought I would save it for the last, but nah, we're gonna talk about it now. It's what you all love in boxing, man. We all here for it. We all hope we see it every single fight. Knockout of the year. Knockout of the year. Now, listen, man, there's a bunch of them, but I've just put 3 together. I didn't want to do this. And I definitely want you to put yours if there's one, if you already have. I'm sure you already have one in your mind. I think the one that sticks out, of course, is your favorite father-son duo in the game right now. You know what I'm saying? We all know how much of a big fan you are. You know what I'm saying, of this team and his family. Brian Norman Jr. goes to Japan, knocks Jin Sasaki out. He can't remember anything for 4 to 6 weeks, what happened, or 2 to 4. I don't know what the number was, but puts this guy in a legitimate coma in the ring, knocks this guy out. That's one candidate. Second one that I'm going to put on there for myself, I'm putting on Frank Martin and Rance Barthélemy, bro. I thought that knockout. I thought that was clean. I thought that was a great comeback year for Frank to come out of nowhere, coming off that loss with Gervonta Tank Davis. And it was clean, great movement, just fundamentally sound, boop, right on the chin, got him up out of there, laid him out, get him to smelling salt, no 10 count. He's done. Yeah. And then Pro Box had a knockout on their card. They had a couple of knockouts this year, by the way. When I was looking into it, I'm like, damn, Pro Box really had a nice collection of knockouts this year. But Marlon Harrington versus Brian Polanco. This one right here, extra clean, right? Rolls, catch, shoot, bop. He's out. No 10 count. Do you have a knockout of the year candidate that you want to put on there?
Man, nah, I can't. I ain't gonna lie. When it comes to the knockouts, I can't think of one that I would pick over the 3 you just gave me. And I think out of the 3 you just gave me, I would have to go with the Norman knockout. You know what I mean? Because it was the build up to, because his father was on the tear with, my son is one of the biggest punchers. He kept saying it. We didn't know too much about Jin Sasaki. We looked at his record. He had been stopped before, but we just, we wasn't too educated. Looking at the fight, it looked like it was going to go the distance. It looked like they was going to just scrap with each other back and forth. Jin Sasaki wasn't super skilled, but he was, he was tough. He was there. But the way the knockout happened, I don't think anybody's seen it coming. And the way he looked dead at Sasaki and then cracked him with that left hook, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was a beautiful shot. He caught him right on the button and he went straight out. You know what I mean? So I think, we got to give Norman the knockout of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he gets it, man. I do think you got to give it to him, man. That knockout, and for me, it's like, it's not about how competitive the fight was. People can pick at Jin Sasaki and say Jin Sasaki shouldn't even have been there. Everybody knew this, knew that. It doesn't matter, man. The knockout itself was clean, and I don't think anybody captured the essence of a knockout quite like Brian Norman did when he captured the essence. Like, that's what happens. This is when we're talking about you don't play boxing, we're talking about those potential outcomes. Yeah. Protect yourself at all times, the number 1 rule in boxing. And when you don't, here is the consequence. You know what I'm saying? Here is the possibilities of what can happen to you. And that should put everybody on game, right? Like, hey, man, work on your craft, bro. Yeah. Because there's a crazy consequence out here, right?
I can say, though, the one with the Pro Box John you brought up, that was an insane knockout, though. It was.
Right.
Yeah, that joint was crazy. That was crazy. But I would give it to Norman, though,
All right, Brian Norman Jr. versus, and I think that's a consensus across the whole boxing space right now. Most people are giving him knockout of the year. You almost knew it was gonna be knockout of the year. The moment you saw the knockout, it was gonna be like unless somebody gets unalived in the ring, I don't know what else was gonna top that. That dude forgot who he was
Yeah.
for 4 to 6 weeks, didn't know where he was at, didn't know he was in a fight, didn't remember anything. So, I mean, that was about as, I mean, what else can you do on that, right?
Yeah.
Anything else would have been prayers, right?
Yeah.
Prayers up. You know what I mean? We don't want it to go that far. So, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to go that far. You know what I'm saying? We want you to get up and get back to your family and do what you got to do, man. So it is what it is. All right. So behind every great fighter, Greg, this one right here should tug at your heartstrings a little bit, man, because we about to talk about trainer of the year, man. The unspoken of heroes, right? The heroes that nobody talks about the way they should talk about them. There's always somebody in the background. There's somebody behind the Terrence Crawford. There's somebody behind the Jerron Boots Ennis, right? There's somebody behind your favorite fighter, whoever it is. There's somebody behind that guy who's pushing him every day during the build-up to these fights to get him prepared. He's doing the film study. He's building the strategy, the game plan. There's this guy who never gets his respect, and it's a trainer, man. And this year, I've narrowed it down to 5 trainers of the year, trainers who've been involved in some of the biggest fights of the year. I'm going to go down the list. Definitely, if you think I'm missing one, let me know who it is. But we're going to go with, I'm going to go to the UK, and I'm going to talk about an up-and-coming trainer, in my opinion. Used to be a fighter, last student, I believe, of the great Emmanuel Stewart. I believe the last student of him, if I'm correct, last fighter he had before he passed away. Rest in peace to the great Emmanuel Stewart. Andy Lee comes out of nowhere. You've seen him in the corner of Tyson Fury from time to time, but he seems like he's done some great things this year, working now with Ben Whitaker. We've seen what he did with Joseph Parker, resurged Joseph Parker, brought him right into the conversation of fighting Alexander Usyk. Who else is he working with right now? He's working with Hamza Shiraz right now. Yep. Just seems he's putting his name in the game, and he has a bunch of European fighters. I think Paddy Donovan might be one of his fighters that he's working with as well. I don't know the whole entire resume right now, but he's definitely been pushing out some quality fighters. I think the big star ones would have to be Hamza and Joseph Parker, even though, you know, and by the way, that fight right there was also a fight of the year candidate, in my opinion. Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley, right? But Andy Lee. Next up on the list is somebody who's close to you, who I think is man, he tries to stay out the way. He tries to stay humble, but it is what it is, man. The cameras are in his face a lot more now. He's always short with his interviews. He doesn't like talking too much. He's just too grown and don't got time for the nonsense, but shout out to Bozy Ennis. Yeah. Bozy Ennis building up his little camp. Obviously, we know about his son. He just recently brought in Jack Catterall. He's got Andy Cruz up in there. And it seems like people are looking for him more. They want to work with him more, right? I even heard rumors a little bit about, man, we should see Ryoto Tsutsumi. That'd be great to see him work with Bozy Ennis with the way he fights, right? So Bozy Ennis is on the list. Ben Davidson, I'm gonna put him on the list as well from out the UK, working with Moses Atalma, right? He's working with Anthony Joshua as well and things of that nature. But also, people don't know about Ben Davidson is that they look for him to do a lot of tape study. So even though he might not be part of the camp to that degree, they'll ask him to do study. Like I believe the Haney's use him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To study tape. So Ben Davidson, one of the biggest stables in the game. And no, I didn't forget him, ladies and gentlemen. I was just waiting to drop him. Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia has been doing the work. Trainer of your favorite fighter, right? Bam Rodriguez. Well, not your favorite fighter, but your fighter, your breakout fighter of the year, Bam Rodriguez, Virgil Ortiz. He's going to be coaching across from Bozy Ennis with Raymond Moratala, right? When he fights Andy Cruz. And a bunch of other fighters, right? We can go down the list. A whole bunch of fighters Robert Garcia has been working, building up his camp. I don't know how he does it. I know his son helps him train, but he's training so many different fighters. I don't know how he keeps up. But I believe last year he may have been trainer of the year as well. But he's definitely right in the conversation now. And then, listen, man, how can Terrence Crawford be the face of boxing, accomplish everything he accomplished, and we don't talk about Bomac? Bomac just has earned the respect in the space. One of those guys who just built. He's one of those trainers who's built his fighter from the ground up. And I always think that's a lot to give to a trainer. You know, when you get a fighter right now, Greg, and you've been working with him ever since he was 9 years old, and you take him all the way into his retirement, 3 weight classes undisputed, 4-time Ring Magazine champion, 5-time champion undefeated. Yeah. We got to talk about you in a certain way, right? Like, we got to talk about what you're doing in your camp. Those are the 5 I got. Is there anybody missing from this list that you think should be in there as an honorable mention?
I mean, I love that list. I'm pretty cool with that list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool with that list. I can't be mad at that list. You know what I mean? And as far as my pick, I think it's a tug of war between Bozy and Bomac. Bomac, that win over Canelo is the most impressive win that you probably could get, especially in that fashion. But then Bo goes, we know what his son is doing, but then you got Andy Cruz, like you said, he grabbed the title with O'Shea Jones, female fighter. And then Jack Catterall makes his way to America and he grabs the title with Jack Catterall. So I think I'm torn between those two.
Yeah. Jack Catterall 2.0, I call him, right? What a performance, man. By Jack Catterall in his last fight against what was his name again?
I
can't remember
forgot
his
it.
name.
Yeah, damn. That was a good fight too.
It was definitely a good fight, man. I don't know, man. So you don't think Robert Garcia is in it?
No, he is, but Robert Garcia is like always in it.
Right.
But I'm just torn between those two because Bozy's been very consistent and his win percentage is very high. But Bomac, that win with Bud is just crazy. Now, Robert, we talking about what? Who you said? Bam Rodriguez.
You got Bam. He's got Virgil Ortiz, who's been on a tear with. Raymond Mortala, he's got it right now as an IBF champion.
It's tough.
Let's go down the list. Who else is he working with? I think the big moments for him was definitely Bam this year. Was a big moment for him. Virgil also being in the conversation and being part of the biggest fight next year.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about it. What was it? What was Robert Garcia's biggest moment? I mean, was this year Rayo fought Isak?
Yeah.
What he did with Rayo Venezuela, right? That was a big moment, man, for him to do what he did against Isak Pitbull Cruz. I don't know. He's got so many fighters. Like every time you look in the ring, if there's a Mexican in the ring, there's a good chance you're gonna see Robert Garcia standing somewhere in that corner.
Right.
I mean, he's just really stamping himself as like, one of the biggest trainers in the game right now. But that doesn't necessarily make you trainer of the year. But he's doing a lot of work. I think Bozy is. I had to put Bozy on here though because I just feel like I don't want to say he came out of nowhere because that's not the case.
Yeah, it's definitely not the case.
Right. You know what I mean? But there's a feeling like that. There's like an energy of like all of a sudden.
Well, see what it is. I'm going to tell you this. If Bozy was on the West Coast, then it would be Bozy. You know why? A lot of people don't want to come to Philly because of the weather.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if Bozy was stationed out of Vegas, if he was stationed out of California, Texas, something like that, where there's a lot of heat, then he would easily be one of those guys that'd be, at a big fight every weekend, every other weekend. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a tough list. I ain't gonna lie, it's a tough list.
So who you rocking with though? Who gets it?
I'm going with the tug of war between Bomac and Bozy.
Is it a tie, or are you going to go with one? Are you going to give one the Bozy? You looking at? Come on, man. If you gonna have it, you might as well just give me the damn trophy, bro. You gotta have some loyalty. If we gonna have me in the tug of war, can I get a trophy? Or
I gotta be crazy. I gotta be fair about the win over Canelo because the way it looked. You know what I'm saying? The way it looked. But then Bo he popping out and listen, he also had a great win with Haven Brady earlier this year.
Yes.
Even though that wasn't one of the biggest fights, that was a big fight. You know what I mean? Because it was a dangerous opponent, and Haven Brady just looked like a complete star, and he looked like a totally different fighter. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the recipe is definitely working over there. You know what I mean? It's definitely working. And Bomac
he's got a system now, right? He's officially Bomac's got a system now. You can see Bomac in the ring now. Like when you see Keyshawn fighting, or when you see all these, you see Bomac. Same thing with Bozy though. Bozy has a system when people. You see Bozy in the ring. You see him. Right. You know what I'm saying? In the style. He's built that. I don't know if Robert Garcia. So, okay, you know what? I'm going to pull back. I'm going to pull Robert Garcia out because I thought that's who would be in front. But these guys have a tried true system at this point.
Right.
So which one are we going to go with? I'm going to be real with you. I'm feeling like Bomac. I feel like that's kind of what you're leaning towards. I think you got to give a respect to that fight with Canelo. You got to give respect also to the being that his fighter actually retired this year. the journey and what he was able to build with Terrence Crawford. He built Terrence from the ground up.
Right.
A lot of trainers, Robert Garcia is picking up fighters that's not necessarily the story.
Right.
I'm going with Bomac. Well, how you feel about that?
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
But you ain't picking Bomac.
It's a tug of, it's really a tug of war, man.
Okay,
really,
okay.
You know what I mean? Bo, I feel like had more wins, but then I feel like Bomac, that win.
Quality over quantity?
Type of thing, yeah.
Yeah. I feel you. I ain't mad at that.
It's tough for me.
I ain't mad at that. Behind the fighter is the trainer, Greg. Behind the trainer and everything going on in that fighter is the promoter, the manager. He's a guy in the rooms negotiating for the money, making the big fights happen. He's moving the fighter's career. He's matchmaking for the fighter. He's building the fighter up one fight at a time.
Yeah.
Trainer of the year is one thing, but promoter of the year in a year like 2025, where it's been so crazy for the Golden Boys, for the top ranks, right? For all of them. I mean, Matchroom has had a decent year, you know what I'm saying? But for all the big promotional, the PBC, that 100%, right? But the elephant in the room is the PBC's been going through what they've been going through, and they've been doing what they can, it seems. Whatever they can do is what they've been doing. But here are the promoters of the year on the list. You tell me which one you think. Number one on the list right now, Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya promoting the likes of Floyd Schofield Jr., obviously Virgil Ortiz, Zerto Ramirez. Who else is somebody big over there that he's in pushing and trying to make it happen with? I mean, he's got, the Arnold Barbosas then, but I don't know if those guys are considered big stars. But that's what Oscar's been up to, right? And not to mention his clapback Thursdays, whatever they're worth. I don't know if that's helping him or hurting him at this point. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But it's his thing. It's one of the biggest things he does, I think. One of the biggest things he does is that clapback Thursdays that separates him maybe from other promoters. The next on the list is his rival, who he makes his rival, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom. Matchroom's been doing a lot of great things this year, especially in the American boxing space, picking up the likes of Jerome Boots Ennis, working with Shakur Stevenson. He's got Raymond Ford, right? He's worked Bam Rodriguez, you know what I'm saying? Diego Pacheco, you know what I'm saying? You can go down the list. Very active. This year, I believe he locked in a deal with Rock Nation. He's got some sort of deal going on with Turkey in an official capacity. So he's got a lot of money behind him. He's moving the needle. He's part of a lot of the biggest fights. Obviously, we know what he does in the UK as far as Anthony Joshua is concerned and things of that nature, right? He's definitely in the conversation. And I'm going to give the third guy I'm going to put in there, Jake Paul, MVP Promotions. What he's done for women's boxing. No, does he not get in that conversation? Can Jake Paul squeeze up in there and get in that conversation for promoter of the year? Is that possible?
I mean, he definitely could, but I feel like Queensberry as well.
100%. Queensberry as well, Frank Warren, especially when it comes to the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody else that I'm going to put. So that's 4. I got one more person I'm going to put in there, but I don't know if he should be in there, but it's kind of hard not to put him in. Turkey. Is Turkey a promoter?
Yeah, I mean, what else you gonna call him? Why are we talking about Riyadh? That came from Turkey.
It is, right?
Yeah.
So he's a promoter. It's kind of crazy because I always look at him like it, but he is the promoter.
Yeah.
And that being said, it's gonna be kind of okay. We got 5 people on the list. We got Oscar, we got Eddie, we got Frank, we got Jake, we got Turkey Al-Sheikh. I'm gonna let you have at it, man. Who deserves promoter of the year?
I mean, as far as the year goes, we got to be fair. Hands down, the biggest fights that's been brought to us has been through Riyadh. You know what I mean? We talking about 14 fight cards and shit like that. They take over. I remember one day they took over the whole day. Like they started cards. They started the fights at like 1 o'clock and it went all the way to like 1 in the morning. So I mean, nobody's been doing it that big. You know what I mean? So we got to give it to me. We got to give it to Riyadh season, Turkey Al-Sheikh.
Yeah, if Turkey's in the conversation, you got to give it to Turkey. If he is a promoter and he's in this selection, you can't take any of those guys and put them over Turkey. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
If Turkey wasn't in it though, and this is just, and the reason I'm saying that we're picking Turkey, right? But for the people who don't want it to be Turkey, who feel like he's cheating, he's spending a bunch of money, he's cheating. If he wasn't on the list, who would be the promoter of the year? If Turkey wasn't on it.
If it wasn't Turkey, I might go with Queensberry. They've been doing some sneaky shit. The Nick Ball,
right?
The heavyweights, like you said. I mean, also, what's that kid name? The light heavyweight.
What, Ben
Whitaker?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They just been doing some good shit. You know?
Okay. And then you got Caleb and them over there too as well, right? No, that's what Eddie Hearn. But okay. So, but it's Turkey. Let's be honest, it's Turkey, man. We can't play around with it. All right, comeback of the year, and then I'm thinking about doing car of the year, but I want to get into the into 2026 as well. But let's do comeback of the year, man. I only got 2 fighters for me personally that is on this list right now. Comeback of the year. I think one of them is a standout, obviously, but the other one I just got to put him on there because where the hell did he come from? And those 2 guys is Devin Haney, of course, and Manny Pacquiao, which I know sounds crazy, but Manny,
right?
Where the hell did he come from? He goes and he beats Mario Barrios for all argumentative purposes and seems to be like everybody's waiting to see what his next fight's going to be. I didn't think it made no sense for him to come back, but competing like he did, even though Mario Barrios isn't that big of a deal, but still he almost became a champion at 40-something years old, coming out of, George Foreman the game a little bit, right? But Devin Haney, to me, the standout, coming back from that Ryan Garcia situation, then gets into a Jose Ramirez fight that everybody was like, oh man, this guy's got a bunch of PTSD. He might be broken. His will is broken. He just ain't got it no more. And he gets in the ring with the guy with the knockout of the year on his on his resume, and Brian Norman Jr. with the left hook, of course, is what he laid out Jin Sasaki with. And man, bro, he just dominates Brian Norman Jr. in that ring, puts him down early. And he's a champion again and back in the conversation, potentially the best 147-pound fighter in the game right now. Out of those 2, is it even hard? Who do you pick for comeback of the year? And is there somebody else that you feel like needs to be on the list that isn't on there?
Well, it's tough. It's tough for me to think about another fighter right now outside of Devin Haney in that category because there was no fighter who was being, put down like Devin Haney. Devin Haney was being clowned. It was memes. It was memes and all types of shit being put out about him. And, we really didn't know if he was back. And after the fight with Ramirez, you still wasn't able to tell because, he moved the entire fight. So for him to go in there and handle, like you said, the knockout artist of the year being Brian Norman Jr., for him to go in there and handle him the way he did and do what he did, I think, that he deserves the comeback fighter of the year for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think, what do you think about Devin? People just hate that whole entire movement. What is that all about at this point in the game? Seriously, like this, it seems to me that Devin is always looking to make the biggest fights. Has always been one of the most skilled fighters in the game. Yeah, but man, bro, he just can't do no right? He can't do no right. Yeah. What is that all about?
I mean, if you look at it in any sport, whenever the father has been outspoken, there's going to be people that don't like it. The Williams sisters went through it. Michael Jordan's father even used to catch shit sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just that. I think it's his father. Because his father is vocal about the things that they do and how they move. And, it's almost untouchable. I'm not saying they can't be touched, but what I'm saying is it's never been done this way, where somebody's father gets all the way in the business. You know what I'm saying? In order to talk about Devin Haney, to put him on a card or do business, you have to talk to Bill.
Right.
There's fathers in the sport, but they have managers. Bill is the manager.
Right.
Bill is the promoter. And when they do business as DHP and whoever it is. So I think it's just really about Bill.
You think Bill just makes it tough because he's always on that mic? He's always on that mic.
And that's what parents are supposed to do, because guess what? Who else is going to believe in the fighter more than the parent?
Yeah. And considering the fact that Devin's not the most exciting fighter in the world,
Right.
there's always, you need something extra, and Devin is not that vocal. He's not saying the crazy things. Bill does, I think, what a lot of fathers in the game want to do, but a lot of them are failing. I think Floyd Schofield Sr. is diabolical. I don't know what he's doing, but I think he's trying to be like Bill.
Yeah.
We've seen Tiafimo Senior try to kind of be that guy, but he becomes almost just as obnoxious as Bill can be at times. I think Bill's a little bit more skillful with it, and Senior's, just loses his shit. You got a lot of Brian Norman Sr. gave a go at it this year. You know what I'm saying? This year was a big year for him on social media and on these platforms.
Right.
Being that voice while Junior was quiet in the background doing working on his craft. But Bill did seem to find that balance, and he's effective. He's one of those fathers who you can be mad at, but you can't be mad at, because he's made his son a millionaire. He's made his son a boss. He's gotten his son to undisputed. He's gotten his son to three times champion. He built the strategy up to beat a Brian Norman Jr. He's checking the boxes in that area. So it is what it is when it comes to Bill, as far as you might not like him, but you can't say what he does isn't working. Right. But I'm looking forward to see Devin Haney in 2026. We'll talk a little bit more about that, because I want to talk about the divisions and time. We're doing great on time, by the way. So we're doing a great time. Shout out to the rundown. You know what I mean? The rundown is working just right. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to make sure I was able to touch all those points with you. That's why I built that rundown. So you said the other day, like professionalism. So thank you. That was my first rundown, though. That's my first rundown that I had to look up how to do that.
Yeah.
And I did that. What'd you think about the rundown, by the way?
Smooth.
You like it?
Yeah, smooth.
Nice little template I followed. It worked out there. So listen, man, card of the year, man. I got 5 events of the year. You tell me which one you think is up there. Card of the year. David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. That card.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to go through it? Devin Haney.
Okay.
Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr. I didn't write it down, so I'm trying to remember over my head. Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr. was who was on that card? Let me pull it up. Let me not even do this to myself. I could really sit here and do the memory thing, but I'd rather not.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. Why do that when
that was Shane Mosley Jr. and Jesus Ramos.
Right. And Jesus Ramos. Hold on, I'm about to pull it up right now. That way I don't gotta. That card right there was epic. Let's go like that. Let's do this. Okay. So that was Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes, of course. I don't know, you know what I mean? Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr. Bam was on there against Puma, right? Martinez. I thought the undercard was great too. Video Melnecki Jr. and Samuel Namo, I thought was a decent fight.
Oh, so Shane wasn't on that one?
Nah, Shane wasn't on this one. Shane was on the Virgil card.
Okay.
He was on the Virgil card. And, you got a couple other, but the main fights on that card was David Benavidez, Brian Norman Jr., Sam Noakes, and Bam Rodriguez.
Okay.
That's one card right there. The next one I'm going to put up right now is going to be the Jerome Boots Ennis. Oh, no, sorry, that's not it. I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Bud Crawford.
Okay.
Right? And hold on, let me pull up the fights that were on that card. 1 second here. Boom. Because I thought that was a real good card. I mean, obviously we had the M. Billy, Lester Martinez on there. We had Boachuk versus Brandon Adams. Caleb Walsh against Fernando Vargas. Steve Nelson against Ryoko Santana on that card. And we had some decent undercards. Like Ryuto Tsutsumi is a fighter who I'm following at 130 pounds. I think is doing a lot of work on there. That's one card right there. Not to mention that obviously just the headline on that card alone made it one of the most impactful cards of 2025, right? So I got to put it on the list. We've also got David Benavidez versus David Morrell.
Yeah. That
card right there was a big card. Started off the year. When was that card? That was February 1st. I think that was the first big card of the year, right?
Yeah.
That was like setting it off, right? Let me see here who was on that card, man. Brandon Figueroa and Stephen Fulton. Cool Boy was on that card, right? We had Jesus Ramos versus Jason Rosario on that card. Isak Pitbull Cruz and Angel Fierro was on that card. We had Yoeli Hernandez on that card as well. Jose Benavidez. Oh no, that fight got canceled. That was a no contest. That fight got canceled. Had a bunch, but those are the standouts. I think that was on that card right there. You've got the Shakur Stevenson William Zepeda card, which I think was an epic card. I thought that was a real good card. You know what I'm saying?
That was a good one.
I mean, people can say it was an Edgar Berlanga card. I'm cool with that, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it was a Shakur card, personally. You know what I'm saying? Right. But that card right there. Who else fought on that card right there? Hamza fought Edgar Berlanga, obviously. Alberto Puello, Sabril Matias fought on that card. Shakur Stevenson, William Zepeda. David Morrell had a very competitive fight with Imam Katiev on that card, and Ryoto Tsutsumi did the work, you know what I mean, and got a TKO. I think that was his first knockout on that card. That was a solid card right there in New York at the Louis Armstrong. And then Dmitry Bivol and Better BF 2. That card was a good card. Yeah. Right? That was a big one right there. And some of the fights that were on that one, let me see here. DMTRI. Let me see here. Boop. Artur Better BF. This one right here. Carlos Adames, Hamza Shiraz. That's when we seen Hamza Shiraz go through what he went through. Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Israel Madrimov. That was a great fight right there. A unanimous decision for Virgil Ortiz Jr. Joshua Buatsi and Caleb Smith, which is a Fight of the Year candidate. Zhele Zhang and Ajit Kabayel. We saw Ajit Kabayel, the body snatcher, put Zhele Zhang down. Joseph Parker got that that stoppage on Martin Bacoli, the last minute replacement with Martin Bacoli. Shakur was on there with Josh Padley. Damn, I ain't gonna lie. I think this one right here is holding a lot of weight, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. This was a pretty big card. So out of those cards right there, David Benavidez, Anthony Yarde, Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, David Benavidez, David Morrell, Shakur. Let's just, I'll be respectful. Hamza Shiraz versus Edgar Berlanga, and Dmitry Bivol and Better BF2. Who do you got? Card wise.
The Shakur card and Berlanga card, wasn't that the card with Matias and Puello?
Yes. No, Matias and Puello, was that the one?
What card was that?
I'm gonna tell you right now. Was that the one?
Because they was all in New York, I believe.
Yeah, that might have been the one. Hold on, I'm about to find out right now. Hold on. Yeah, that's it. Matias and Alberto Puello. Yep.
And who else was on there? It should have been one more.
Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga, David Morrell and Imam Katiev was on there, and Ryoto Tsutsumi and Mike Ruiz, which is a fight I thought was a great fight, but you know.
Yeah, that was a great fight too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of that's tough. I don't know, Clay. It's a tough list.
Yeah.
It's a tough list.
I think there's two standouts though for sure, in my opinion. I think three. I think Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, just off the fact, 70,000+ people in the arena. True. You know what I'm saying? That was just crazy. I think Shakur, the Edgar Berlanga, Hamza Shiraz card, and I do think the Bivol Better BF card was a super stat card. Better BF 2. I think that was a super stat card.
Who was on that one?
I'm gonna go down the list. There was a lot of people on there, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Dmitry Bivol. It was it's getting Carlos Adames, Hamza Shiraz, Virgil Ortiz, and Israel Madrimov, Joshua Buatsi, Caleb Smith, Zhele Zhang, and Ajit Kabayel.
Damn.
Which was with Joseph Parker and Martin Bacoli. Right?
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson with the last minute Josh Pally, but it was supposed to be Floyd Schofield Jr., which I think would have made this the straight up best card of the year. If Schofield Jr. would have made that fight, that probably would have been it. That would have made this card the most stat card all year long. You know what I mean? But we saw Shakur put on a class performance coming off that hand surgery and seeing him do what he did. So that I think that card was super stacked, man. But where you at with it? Seems like you like the Edgar Berlanga Shiraz card a little bit, but
yeah, I was gonna say based off performances that night, I think that could have been the one too. But that's a tough one, Clay. That's tough as shit. That's super tough.
Yeah, those are the fights of the year. And most of these cards, let me see, we got a PBC card here with David Benavidez. But most of these cards is turkey, man. These are turkey cards, man. All turkey.
Yeah. He making them.
He making these cards, bro.
Yeah.
Who's it gonna be? Come on, Greg. Who's gonna be, man?
I'm gonna show a little bit of bias. I'm gonna go with the New York card with Berlanga and Shiraz.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
some great fights on there.
That was a great card, man. That was I think the only thing that would have made it better if they would have gave Shakur his rightful place as a headliner for that card. I think he deserved it. But it is what it is. Edgar talks that shit, man. He earned it. He got it. But he also, got what he got. All that mouth. Didn't back it up too much against Hamza. It is what it is. So that's what happens. So this year is one of those years too, man. Talk a lot of shit, man. You got to look at. I seen you earlier today. I ain't gonna bring it up. You know what I'm saying? But I seen you earlier today. People upset at you. Yeah, they're upset at you. At the end of the day, judgment has to be passed, right? Judgment has to be passed. Like you talk the shit, expect you to back it up. You don't back it up. You're a content creator. It's your job.
Yes,
right?
sir.
They ask me the questions. I'm going to answer the question. Period. Mm-hmm. And I thought you did a good job. I thought you answered the question. Listen, everybody knows the history with that whole situation, but I thought you've done a great job at keeping that on the outside and being objective with your criticism. Right. Now, it's unfortunate that the criticism falls on a certain side of the conversation because you got those issues, but what are you supposed to do? I thought all of the points that you hit were legitimate points. What do you want? What do you want?
Right.
To say, I'm saying you're calling it for what it is. But when you talk that talk, we waiting on you. We waiting on you because we want to see what it's gonna be. If it is what it is, we're gonna give you the respect you deserve. But if it ain't, don't shoot the messenger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it.
Real shit.
I'm just talking about what I saw and I thought you gave a great, especially the, you know what I mean? I thought that was super accurate, bro. I thought that was right on point with what the issue was. I think that was the issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is. I mean, do you want to expand on it at all and just be like, hey?
I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people was mad because honestly, they started to believe what they was hearing. I was just trying to let people know, listen, there's a lot missing from the situation. I understand y'all captivated right now. I understand y'all excited right now. I understand it looks like, we have a new puncher, but there's a lot more you have to bring to the table, especially at the top level. You can't go in there playing, thinking, just because I can punch, I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to get this guy out. So I think the fact that the fight, it didn't go any type of way that people anticipated going, then everybody mad at me now. But when I tried to shoot the warnings out there, I was being called a hater. I was being called a hater the entire time. And all I said was, listen, the kid is too fast, he's too sharp, and he's too experienced. I don't know what y'all looking at. I don't know what y'all see, but I'm trying to tell y'all what's going to happen. And, that was it. And people didn't like it. And then my thing was, with the video that me and Mill did was, don't hide now. Talk like you was talking. You know what I mean? Because you was confident before the situation. You know what I mean? Continue to talk like that. Don't try to change it up. Don't only come out when we call you out. You know what I mean? Come outside the way you was outside. Because we miss you, baby. You know what I mean? We would like to speak to you.
We got used to you. We got used to you, man. It's like all of a sudden you don't come around no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what happened?
It's so crazy how this game is, man. But that's why you got to respect the temperament of an Abdullah Mason or, like these guys always, those, the even Xander Zayas, carries it with this new generation. And we'll get into that for 2026. That's going to be part of that conversation because that's what we're about to start talking about is 2026. But man, yeah, bro. I interviewed Senior here and I told him, I asked him, to be honest with you, I didn't tell him anything. But I asked him, I said, what do you think about that? You know what I mean? People are saying that you're focused, you're out here. They're questioning if you're focusing on your son as much as you should be focused on. You're talking about boots everywhere. So much things was going on for that whole entire year. You know what I'm saying? Before the Devin Haney fight even got announced, all the way from the boots negotiations that were messy. And you've always stood behind your son, and that's respected. But now you have a fight, your son's biggest fight ahead of you. With Devin Haney, hands down, the most decorated, experienced fighter you've ever been in a ring with. Right. And we don't feel like there's an argument there to say that your energy is not focused in the right places.
Right.
And you assured us, man, we got this. We already seen it. I've watched him. This guy's nothing special. Bop, 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 bop.
He said, listen, the words was, I'm gonna kill him. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So once you say that, there's no further. There's no further you can go. So it's like, all right, we looking for that. Now, after that first round, and we listening. See, this is the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't meant to be, it wouldn't have happened that way. It wouldn't have, even the part with them catching him say, in after the first round in the corner, that kid can't counter. I told you he ain't that fast. I told you he can't punch. Go get him. Now, the second round, you listen to your trainer, you go get him, and you end up on the floor.
With a crooked nose.
And now it's, now we really tuned in, and we like, all right, so what's next? And he's like, damn, son, shit. You ain't got no words for him. So don't get your tongue tied up now. Talk that shit you was talking. Because what he don't understand is he was putting it out here like, this is what boxing has been missing. Him, not his son, him. I know this, and I know how to do this, and them guys ain't got no powers. This one is a slap puncher, and this one is, okay, let's see what happens. And it was nothing that you said it would be. And the best thing that he could come up with, which I didn't like and I didn't appreciate, was my son didn't listen. No, he wasn't able to because he was in another world after getting hit like that. After getting hit like that, imagine getting punched in your head and then being asked to keep fighting.
Right.
That's not for the average person. But just because this person isn't average, he's still a person. You understand? So he's still got to make it through. And you could tell Norman just wasn't ready for that because the whole thing was we just going to run this kid over. So that let me know as a teacher, as a master, or whatever you want to call yourself, you're really uneducated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he walked his son down the alley and then turned his back on him. That's how I felt.
Wow. You listen, man. Early in that fight, he faced adversity, and it wasn't like it'd have been different if the match was going in a certain direction for the most part, and that would have happened, let's say, in the 8th round, 7th, 8th round, and it'd been like he got caught, but what he was doing was working. It was very early in the fight, so it kind of derailed a lot of that energy, and then you kind of got to see what they thought the fight was really supposed to be. And I always assumed in my head that he was being confident, but I always said to myself, but you are giving Devin like the respect, right? Like you do know he's like one of the best. He's got one of the best jabs in the game. He's a fighter. He's decorated for a reason. He's youngest undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. 2-weight. You see what he did with Regis Prograis. This is the best fighter your son's ever been in the ring with, right?
Right.
To not see the adjustments, to see what you said, the go in there and get him now. Come on, man. All of that anxiety. Looks like there was a little bit of a breakdown in that corner where there was no plan B. You didn't figure out what if the worst case scenario happened. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see the adjustments in 2026. I want to see what that looks like. I think both of them have an opportunity to learn. I hope they are doing that. I think Brian Norman Sr. has an opportunity to learn as a trainer, as a father trainer in the game. He can learn from that. And obviously Junior has a lot to learn from as well. I hope they're not walking away feeling like that was just a fluke. Work on the issues that it seems like there was. And I'm looking forward to see some bigger and better fights. They're number 2 in the WBO rankings, I believe, right now. So to me, that means Turkey Al-Sheikh got plans for them. He wants them to still be in the conversation because he wouldn't be there. Well, on Ring Magazine, I'm going to say, sorry. In the welterweight division rankings, I think he's number 2 right now. So he's in the conversation. Tiger Johnson, Rohan Polanco, a lot of fights that could be made there. Let's see what they do. But that being said, 2026, man.
Yes, sir.
We going into 2026 coming off of a great 2025. Like I said, all those intangibles. Let's talk about some of the big things that we're looking forward to seeing. I think the big thing right now to set off 2026 is definitely got to be Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. That card has just been announced. Keyshawn Davis is on that card. He'll be fighting against Jermaine Ortiz. The card is looking pretty good to me, right? But this fight right here is a fight that is a treat for a boxing fan because we don't get guaranteed. It's hard pulling teeth and pulling nails to get fighters who are in their prime to fight each other, and we've got one here in front of us with Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. You've talked about it a little bit. I was contributing through the chat as you were breaking down what you saw happening with the Teofimo Lopez Shakur, or what potentially could happen. What's intriguing, the biggest thing about this fight that's intriguing, because there's also people out there saying that this fight has the possibility of being a very boring fight because of how cerebral they are. They might be too cerebral, and this fight might end up being a dud. I don't think that's going to happen. But where are you at on this fight?
I think it's going to be exciting because of the magnitude. Both guys had something to prove. The thing is, I feel like the pressure is on Teofimo because he's the one that's going to have to make the major adjustment. Shakur is not known for changing his style. He's going to do what he do, and he's going to be the best at it, and that's fine. But I think if Teo doesn't make him pressure him to make him adjust, it's going to be another Shakur night. So I feel like the interesting part is I'm waiting to see is if Teofimo Lopez is going to step on the gas immediately and, apply pressure.
Yeah. And also, I agree with you, but I'm also interested in what happens when you apply the pressure and it doesn't work the way you think it's going to work. I want to see the adjustments. One thing I've noticed about Teofimo Lopez, and I know I've gotten some push. I get a lot of pushback from time to time because I'm always saying what I believe is a hard thing to say. People don't like it, but it's going to be about mental grit. It's going to be about that part of the conversation. When it comes to Teofimo Lopez in the year he's had, he's made it cringe at times with the racial things. And for me, that's an outcry for attention. And also this whole idea behind him stepping up in the biggest fights and fighting down to his opponents. I find that to be reflective of his mental strength. I think great fighters fight well, period. There's no fighting up and down and fighting to my competition, because that means that mentally you're there and mentally you're not there. And I find that to be an issue with dealing with the frustration, right, of adversity. You know what I'm saying? That real thing that boxing's all about. I always said that, to me, boxing is a chess game. It's a thinking man's sport.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of those, it's you and one other person in there. You're trying to get the timing of that person down. You're trying to get the cadence down. You're trying to make sure your feet in the right place. That's one of the biggest things when you see Bam Rodriguez performing the way he does. He's a chess player. Like, you see him setting up things early in these fights, and you see him execute on them. And you can tell he's going to be able to deal with the adversity. If there's a problem, he's going to make adjustments. You can tell.
Yep.
Shakur is somebody who's shown that as well. People talk about Shakur being mentally weak because he's on Twitter reacting to everybody and getting into it fans. I mean, that's cool. But at the same time, when he's inside of the ring, he has bad hands, he wins. He has bad hands before he goes into the fight. He goes through with the fight and finds a way to win. You might not be happy with the way he did it, but he's a thinking man. And he's like, nah, this guy can't outthink me in here. Even if I can't punch on him because my hands are broken, I'm going to beat him. I think that's grit. Right. You're working through pain. The pain could be distracting to you. He doesn't let none of that distract him. He always stays on point. I think he's one of the strongest mental guys inside of that ring. And I think Teofimo has shown that when it comes to the frustration of dealing with adversity, he breaks down. He can't even hold himself to get out the ring, get in front of a camera before he says, do I still got it? He's impulsive. He says a lot of crazy things that he has to dial back on later. I think that's going to be the difference in this fight, Greg. I'm not going to lie to you. And I see him trying to play cool in the press conference, and I appreciate it, for whatever it's worth. But I think that's going to be the big difference maker, is watch Teofimo adjust, because I think without a doubt, that first plan is going to get debunked. That's what I believe. The first plan, Shakur is going to figure it out, and you're going to have a solid B plan. What you're going to do, Teofimo, with your B plan. And God forbid, the C plan. You know what I'm saying? God forbid, because that's what Shakur's there to do. So it's going to be a chess match, man. Definitely one of the big fights I'm looking forward to, right?
I agree.
One of the big fights I'm looking forward to seeing. Another big fight that I'm looking forward to seeing is this Jaron Boots and Virgil Ortiz Jr. fight, man. I want to see this happen. Now, this fight isn't announced, but damn it, this fight needs to happen, man. And it needs to happen sooner rather than later. I know you're going to support Jerron Boots Ennis, and I'm pretty sure you're pretty confident he's going to win this fight, but I have my thoughts on it. I want to know your thoughts. Competitive fight, or do you think this is a styles make matches, and Jerron Boots Ennis is just that Virgil ain't got the answer, Sway.
I think it is competitive, but it's competitive for maybe the first 3 rounds. After that, the conditioning sets in. The punch output, we have to see what the punch output is looking like. Can both guys handle, the other one's power? But I think Boots, I just think because of the athleticism, the skill set, the hunger, the style, just everything. I think he just overwhelms Virgil and possibly stops him like around 8 or 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. I think Boots. Well, first of all, shout out to everybody in the building. I haven't asked you guys to do it yet. I haven't even looked. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe to the channel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This fight right here, I think Boots has the tools to make it easy.
Right.
I wonder if he's going to do that, though. That's the thing about Boots. Do you do what you can do and make this not even a competitive fight? And I'd like to see that, because I think it'd be real separation between him and the rest of the division if he was to do that against Virgil Ortiz.
Right.
Virgil Ortiz right now is #1 on the Ring Magazine's rankings in the super welterweight division or junior middleweight division, whatever they're calling it. Or they going back and forth, whatever have you, right? But I don't know what Boots is going to do. I don't know what he's going to do and how he's going to choose to fight, because Boots enjoys a good fight. Indeed. He likes to fight, but he's such a great boxer, Greg. He's underrated boxer, but he'd rather fight you at times. It looks like he'd rather just fight you. If he does what he can do, I think he can make this a very easy one-sided affair. If he fights Virgil Ortiz, then this fight becomes closer to a 50-50 fight. Not 50-50 still in my mind, but closer to it. Maybe like a 60-40. If he boxes Virgil Ortiz, I think this is a 70-30 fight. Easy. I don't think Virgil Ortiz has that many dimensions to his game, personally. I think he's a great fighter, by the way. Shout out to Virgil Ortiz. I met him in New York. Great dude. Smart as hell, man. Articulate. But yeah, man, just not enough dimensions. I don't think he's been in enough fights that test him that way to make him have the dimensions. Right? And I think Boots has just been brought up inside of a system that's just one of the best systems right now in the game, right? With Bozy. I just think he's a product of one of the best systems out there. Hold on a second. Where am I at right here? Moses Atalma. Now, let's not talk about that one right here. Let's talk about Zuffa Boxing. Dana White. Where are you at?
I mean, of course, I don't like the idea of Dana White. His infrastructure is crazy. But I have to be open-minded, because we didn't know what Turkey was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When De La Hoya became a promoter, we didn't know what he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
When PBC was a thing, we didn't know what they was going to do. You know what I mean? So therefore, we got to give Zuffa a shot. Now, what I do like about Zuffa is the fact that they're really going to be focusing on guys who haven't had, the most successful careers. I mean, it's going to be guys who are hungry, guys that are looking for opportunity, and I believe up and coming fighters. So, we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about it. I am optimistic about it. I think the more competition, the more platforms, the better for boxing. Fighters are going to get opportunities now. I think it becomes more competitive also. I think that's the biggest thing I'm taking away from it is ever since Dana in Turkey has announced it, Eddie stepped up his game. The zone is putting pressure on Oscar to step up his game. Everybody kind of understands what this new world is going to look like, and I think we win. We the bad bitches in the club, and everybody want to holler. You know what I mean? They offer bottle service. It feels great to be a boxing fan in 2026 as they fight for our attention, Greg, as they fight for us to look at them. And let's not say we the bad bitches in the game. We the ballers in the room. We got the money and all the females. Let's do it that way. Let's not do it the other way. All the females want to get at us, and hey, chill, relax, security. Hey, hold up, man. Let me see what you're working with. Do your thing. I'll let you know. Don't worry about me. Do what you do. I'll let you know when it's time for me to let you know who I'm going home with tonight. And they all fighting for our attention. It is what it is. Greg, I'm not going to hold you up crazy. It's late. It's New Year's Eve. You got to get ready for your whatever you do for New Year's Eve, bringing in the year right, man. 2026, man. God bless you, your family, your children, anybody you love, man. They made it, right? Some of us didn't make it, but they made it. Shout out to Anthony Joshua in his situation, man. Crazy. What a way for the year to go on the back end of a big payday and something like that. For something like that to happen, just shows you, man. Hug on and hold on to the ones you love, man. You know what I'm saying? And let them know how you feeling, man. This was great, man. I hope we can do this again. I'm gonna start bothering you to try to get you up here more often because I love to hear your takes. And I got so many questions. I have so many more things on my written down here. I could really be a problem. I could be a pain in the ass tonight and have you up here for like 3-4 hours. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I talked about the main things, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Man. Thank you. How did you enjoy yourself? Was it a decent show? How'd you feel about it, man?
No, I like working with you, man. You're a cold professional. You know what I mean?
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. Big year for 2026 for everybody, man. I want to see you. I think next year, by the way, Greg, I'm making a prediction, man. 50K, man. That's what I see.
Hopefully,
that's what I think, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think 50K, man. I'm hoping to hopefully hit like 10K this year. We'll see what happens. But man, thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Everybody knows where to find you already, guys. Greg Hackett, man. Salute to the number one needle mover in the content creation space right now. Salute, Greg. Until the next one, man. Salute to you, family. Go ahead, man. Go get some rest, man. I'm gonna tell everybody some shit, and then I'm gonna go my damn self, man. Salute, family.
All right, appreciate you. Thanks, Clay.
Peace. Yeah, guys, that was a good one, man. Shout out to Greg Hackett for making some time to come build with us here today, man. That's always a validation for a channel like this to have somebody that high caliber to be to show up here and build with us. That's always to build with me, build with you guys, build with the community. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. We've had a lot of people. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do, man? Damn, you know what I should have did and I didn't do. I apologize, man. I didn't put the phone number on the bottom of the screen for people to call in and talk to Greg. There's the number, by the way. If anybody feels like dialing in, it is effective. That is a number. Call in. Shout out to everybody who's in the building, man. We got 60 somewhat people in the building. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Crazy year in 2025, man. Crazy standout year, man. For me, Terrence Crawford, just fighter of the year. Just stands out, man. And that's who, this year made the biggest moves for me, man. Just the biggest moves, man. The way he shook it up with the WBC. I didn't even talk to Greg about the sanctioning bodies, the fees, and Ring Magazine, and all those things. I saw he was getting tired. Greg has a long day. He's all over the place on all different channels, not to mention he's working in the gym full time. So I had to let him go, man. But Lance Myers said, I ain't got no minutes, fam. It is what it is, man. It is what it is, bro. Let me see, just in case. Just making sure everything is connected. Yeah, just in case anybody wants to call in, there's a number, man. Or, you know what else? I'll put the link up there if anybody want to come in and build on the link. There you go. If you feel like coming up and building, it is what it is. There's the link right there. Hit the link. 3 more minutes until my minute's free. No doubt, Reef. No doubt, Reef. Hey, man, it is what it is. I remember those days. I remember those days when there was a certain time. It's like, I could give me 5 minutes, man. I'm waiting for my free minutes to kick in. It is what it is. So many different things, man. The face and the narrator, no doubt, man. Happy New Year's to Clay and Greg, no doubt, Rod. Yo, shout out to everybody who was in the building, too, as well, man. Shout out to 2 Cents in the building, man. Thank you for the support, man, for everybody. Oh, let me shout out the super chats as well, man. Shout out to Syfe Bud, who showed some support with a super sticker in there. Big Herm Show with the $2 says the Philly Bull loved your take on Senior Greg. Yeah, man, that was crazy what happened with Greg and Brian Norman Sr., man. I shot Brian Norman Sr. a text message today. Told him Happy New Year's and told him, man, hey, what did I say? I said, make your next take your best take, train hard. You know what I mean? I can't remember, I got it right here, but he responded. You know what I mean? He responded and showed some love, man. But man, what a crazy year it's been for boxing. You know what I mean? Adel Choice in the building with the salams. Walaikum salam. Barakatuh to my Aki. He says, good to see 2 opinions. I appreciate linking up. No doubt, man. I'm going to try to get Greg up here a lot more often, bro. Shout out to Selected Styles with supporting the channel, man, with the $5, man. I appreciate it, man. I do appreciate it, man. Roger Dat in the building. Salute to Roger Dat. Lance Meyer coming by. Trini BX. Salute to Trini BX in the building, man. Spite at Clay. Trini BX. Who is this? Eric Dallas in the building. G working on his professionalism. 100%, man. Yo, Greg is the future, man. Greg is the future, bro. And I listen, I called that a long time ago with Greg. I remember when I did a StreamYard thing with Jamil, right? And I asked him about Greg. I'm like, what's good with Greg, man? That dude, yeah. I remember he's like, man, I'm trying to get him to do the channel, but he's so focused, he doesn't really take it seriously and all that. So it was great to see him finally start his channel up, man. He's growing fast. I think he's the fastest growing YouTube channel in the boxing space. Credible. Everybody knows he knows what he's talking about. That's why everybody reaches out to him. Everybody wants him on there, whether it's Mill City, whether it's, somebody from Boxing News 24 or Fight Hub or obviously YSM. They all know what it is with him, man. They all know what it is with him, man. I always seen it in him, man. And he has a raw way of approaching it, but great eye for what's going on inside that ring. You know what I mean? And not to give myself all the credit in the world to say that I have the eye to see that type of talent, but I'm not a fan of 8 out of 10 boxing channels that's out there. I think the boxing space at this point is very toxic, a lot of fanaticism, a lot of feminine energy. I'm not with any of it for the most part. I'll be honest with you. I don't watch most boxing content. Greg is must-see content. He's super credible, super objective, and he's been put in compromised situations where he could be biased, but he chooses not to be, whether it's about Jerron Boots Ennis, whether it's about Stephen Fulton or any home team. He always keeps it real about what happens inside of that ring, man. And he's just going to be one of those guys, bro, if he's not already that guy, man. Shout out, man, to everybody in there. Reef J 3 in the building says, folks coming together, have good fellowship, Clay, building something organically special. Thank you, Reef. I appreciate that, man. And I'm hoping to do that. Tonight, I wanted it to be something organic, and I don't see two people, and y'all know who y'all are, that I sent the link out to, but I know it's New Year's Eve and everybody's getting it on point. But in a perfect world, in an ideal situation, I'll continue to push for it. I do want to, once a month, if not once a week, in an ideal situation, have a panel of the best content creators in the space, man, building on the sport. Greg being one of them. Shout out to my brother Blue Blood. I know a lot of people push back at Blue, but I think Blue is he's the originator. You know what I mean? He's a blueprint to a large degree for a lot of these things you see happening in the boxing space. Blue was one of the original guys, man. And, and he's always there for me. He's always somebody I could reach out to. If I want to call him right now, I'm going to call him. You know what I'm saying? Will he pick up depending on what he's in? But he always reach back out to me. Worst case scenario, always available for me. And Mill City, another person who I think is going to blow up crazy in 2026. He's already done a lot. I thought he would have had a better year, to be honest with you. I thought he would have been, over 50,000 subscribers, but he got close to it. And next year is going to be a big year for him, man. Just somebody who's always provided us as boxing fans with a way to the boxers, right? Like he says, your favorite boxers, or home of the trainer, home of the boxer. I can't remember what he says, but he stays true to that. Always provides us access to some of the best fighters, and he shares, right? He opens up the Instagram. You can get in there and talk to anybody he's got on that panel, whether it's Henry Garcia, whether it's Jermaine Ortiz, whether it's one of the Schofield Sr. I hate to say it with that energy, but it is what it is. Whoever it is, Jose Benavidez Sr., just whoever it is, he always shares it across the space and allows the community to speak directly to these guys, right? So Mill's one of those guys, and I can always call in line for them. Yeah, no doubt, too, Sizzle, for sure, man. The phone line I'm expecting to jump off, man, in 2020. That's gonna be a big part of what I add to this channel in 2026 is gonna be that phone line. It's gonna get a little bit better. I've got other things I'm working on too as well. I got some overlays and a whole bunch of different things I'm trying to do to level up the channel itself. And that's what I'm gonna be focused on in 2020. 6 is going to be interacting with you guys, right? I always do the show. I always have my guys up here, Ray Davis, Angelo Reyes, and we always build them on boxing. And sometimes we get into our own world. We forget about you guys. I ain't going to lie to you. This year is going to be all about us. communicating. I'm learning. I'm seeing what Showbiz is doing. I'm seeing what Ness at the Boxing Boys is doing. Shout out to Ness, another person who I could reach out to, who's always opened his platform up to me. I see what I'm missing, but it's a learn. It's a grind, right? It's been 2 years for the channel and learning, right? A learning curve. But this is what this year is going to be focused on: making it easier, communicating with you guys better, more polls, the phone line, more panels, more communication with you guys and getting what you guys think about the space. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is, man. Shout out to my guy, Literary Pharaoh. Another word of encouraging words coming from Literary Pharaoh, bro. And that word describes you, brother. I ain't gonna lie to you. Literary Pharaoh, that word really describes you. Like, you are another super articulate person, bro. Well thought out, and always kept it real with me, been honest with me, and always been a motivation for me. I appreciate Literary Pharaoh. My brother Fly Frequency, my Aki, man. Y'all don't know, but I'm not gonna say his name. We just gonna keep it Fly Frequency. But he was the one who gave me my shada, who brought me into Islam, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even know. That's my guy right there, man. That's my voice of reason. More often than you guys would want to know how Fly Frequency is. You guys know Fly Frequency for being an annoying, frustrating Devin Haney fan, always in your business. But I know him on a different way. I know him to be a super humble dude. I don't know if I could probably count on one hand how many times I've heard Fly Frequency curse. That's real talk. I'm telling you. And it's not 5. You heard? And it's not 5. Okay, man, I can count on one hand how many times I heard him cursing. I talked to him. Or we haven't talked as much as we used to, but we talk a lot. We used to talk all the time, but never, man. Super humble, man. Family, man. Spiritual dude, bro. Devout Muslim, man. Just all the above, bro. Y'all don't know sometimes the people that y'all talking to in these chats, their backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? And people talk and judge people based off of boxing perspective and what they think about going in boxing. And sometimes the lines get crossed, and I think people sometimes forget that they're talking to grown men, people who are fathers, right? People who are husbands, people who are leaders in their community. And you guys say anything you feel like saying to everybody. It gets crazy. I ain't gonna lie sometimes, which is another reason why I don't like being on a lot of these channels, right? Disrespect gets crazy, man. Shout out to my brother Adele.
Hey,
What's good, fam?
Walaikum assalam, Mark. How you doing, sir?
Man, we good, man. We about there, man. We about to go into the new year, bro. We about to go into 2026. I think that's kind of weird though, because I feel like the new year should be spring. You know what I mean?
Listen here, man. You already know I was about to say it, but you know this not our New Year. This day
Yeah.
New Year. This day New Year. Let them have their Christmas, Easter, birthday parties. Well, we save so much money. I'm telling y'all should become Muslim. It's ridiculous how people be crying about how much money they got to spend up under trees and up under,
Oh yeah.
this and that. I be laughing like, is that right? Whew. Yeah, I
Crazy.
don't know what y'all doing. I don't know what y'all doing, but yeah, it was a good boxing year. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to to Saudi, you know what I'm saying, for putting on like they've been putting on in every sport in America. They've been collaborating, man. I don't just watch boxing. I'm also into horse racing because that's
Oh
my
really?
grandfather's sport. Yeah, that's my granddaddy's sport. So they do buggy riding all down south. 90 years old, they holding on to the 1800s. If you go down there,
Wow. I mean, how do you
but
be a that's crazy to me, man. Like, first of all, you just threw me with that. I would have never, if I would have thought, I would have never guessed you were, are you watching it like the
yeah,
riders, the horses? Like, what do you do? How do you follow that? Like, how do you follow
I
horses?
know, right? Well, there's betting first of all, so
Right.
everything's online betting, and then
Mhm.
second of all, it's mostly local for me. So my family come up out of the Shreveport, Louisiana, the Creole area, the Arkansas area, the West Texas area, Dallas area. So they got their own tracks out there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of backwood, you know what I'm saying, Negro stuff. And my uncle just won a belt, you know what I'm saying? So he got his little, trophy up in the case. And so we slide through and we celebrate country, original American racing, you know what I'm saying? So rodeo is still big. Oklahoma just had a real big black rodeo, man. You got to go out there, bro. Next year it's going to be real big. Please look it up. You know what I'm saying? Black rodeo in the house, man. So many sports. So please, everybody, broaden your horizon for 2026, so-called. You know what I mean? Broaden your horizon, man. Don't get trapped up into this drama of what these big promoters do in this $1 billion industries. There's a lot of small industries that can just bring warmth to your heart and take a lot of stress off.
Yeah. No doubt, man. Crazy. So this year was a crazy year. Edo, man, a lot of things happened this year, man. Obviously, Turkey doing what he does, top rank. And there was a lot of things I wanted to talk to Greg about that I didn't even talk about, bro.
I know. I'll be peeping them too on what is it, YSM or something like that channel.
Yeah, but he has his own channel too, GHB TV, which is
right. That's facts. And so the conversation that really is going to be important coming into 26 is, do boxing need a bracket?
Elaborate, expand on that.
Should promoters start really taking serious of their hit list? Should it be a mandatory hit list? Should we start having things like RIGHT? Should every promoter stop being taken serious until they get a form of belts? Because I think promoters can get their own belt. I mean, these belt is belt. You know what I'm saying? Create your own sanctioned body. You know what I'm saying? Get it regulated. I mean, that's the type of stuff that you need to be able to do to even groom somebody to become a superstar. Because a lot of the times we get, these, like you said, a bad bitch superstar earlier. We get these bad bitches who don't want to talk to us. And then we find out that a C fighter ain't that far off from an A fighter. And now we all let down with the Tank Davis and the Lamonte Roach. Because all, like you said, not no disrespect, but we thought, oh my God, pulling somebody up to fight Tank Davis, this guy's going to be committing suicide. No, actually, he beat Tank. So are we all getting flu flam? Like, is all this a bunch of what was the brother? What was the boy that just got knocked out by AJ? Is all this
Jake Paul?
What's the guy's name? Yeah. Are we watching a whole bunch? Or is boxing filled with Jake Pauls? That's the question. Because we're looking at Jake Paul as an obvious Hulk Hogan, type. But are we not getting this avatar type of tough guy coming from the hood who worked his way up and who could beat everybody but never fought anybody?
Yeah.
We got to start scrutinize things like that. So that's something I wanted to ask. Should promotion companies start creating brackets to build our attention? And this type of stuff should be shown on daytime TV or nighttime TV to build up boxing, because I don't think boxing has won our attention back again. And so that's another question. Can boxing make a comeback for our attention? Because right now ESPN doesn't want it. A lot of main providers and streamers don't want boxing. It's just not bringing in. So where does boxing go from here, and how can they win the fan base of America? Because America has thrown it away. I mean, it's very few people who even know a boxer in America.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I'll use an example as Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga, right? As an example, just to say that here's this undefeated fighter in Edgar Berlanga, right?
Right.
You look at his resume, 17 first-round knockouts, and he gets in there with the Hamza Shiraz and gets absolutely schooled, right?
Hello.
And what does it show you? It shows you that until you see your fighters, your favorite fighters, whoever that is, properly tested, you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know who they are. The eye test is one thing, but it's nothing like the actual fight happening. There's no replacing the fight. Saying Tank would beat Shakur or would beat Devin Haney or would beat Teofimo Lopez is one thing.
Right.
But him actually doing it is another thing. And I think a lot of these spaces talk about it as if he actually's done it. You know what I'm saying?
Because now we can see, if you can't beat Lamont Roach cerebral, then how can you beat Devins? How can you beat Shakur's? These
Right.
are people who are more intelligent in IQ in the ring, and that's what you got beat by. Someone who had a better IQ. Yeah, your IQ level is very good match for Rolly. But come on, crayon eating Rolly, stop it. Yeah, your IQ is on level for racist Ryan. You know what I'm saying? But okay, but it's Ryan. So we got all these highlight reels of people who are really deep fighters, people who really lost their way up to Tank. And that's what we got to start doing on platforms, and allow people like me to crash out on your platform and put it like a disclaimer. These views are not the views of the podcast, and start letting people, what I'm saying, just crash out on these fighters who haven't went anywhere. Now, Boots, we see the potential, but we can still crash out on Boots because the test is not there. We want to see the test. He had one test against the Eastern European dude. It was pretty good. The dude was all janky and all over the place. We want to see another one. If that's his weakness, put him in there again with a jerky Eastern European guy. We want to see him master that type of fighting.
Right.
Do it again. Don't put him in there with another who was the guy name? We don't even know his name from some hole in the wall place. Was
Well,
that your phone call?
nah.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard a phone call. But anyways, Boosted getting tested with a
Oh,
guy that he almost.
right. Damn. Hold up, man.
Yeah, you got something going on.
From
Jerry.
Hold on a second.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Salute, salute, salute.
Hey, what's up now?
What's up? What's good, family? Hold on 1 second here. This is the first phone call on the show. Is everybody here? Can you hear this?
Yeah, I can hear it. That's why I heard the ring.
Okay. Salute, family. What's your name? And where you out from?
It's Jerry from Baltimore.
What's good, Jerry from Baltimore? What's good, family? What's on your mind, man?
Happy New Year coming up here soon, buddy. Tank Davis. Tank Davis not built for boxing. It's not a lack of IQ that why he gets outboxed at times. He's too short. Same thing with Pitbull Cruz. Them guys didn't develop their styles because they can't box. They developed them because you take Pitbull Cruz, for example. What's he going to look like on the outside, on his toes, trying to work behind a jab with them little ass arms? He fights the way he fights because that's how he's learned. That's how he can be successful at fighting. We all talk about styles make fights, and then the first thing people want to do is downplay somebody's style. He is not hard. He's not easy to deal with, Pitbull Cruz. I don't care who you are. He's not easy to deal with, especially for a boxer, because the boxers, they want someone that's going to box with them. They don't want a guy that throws reckless, hard punches, especially if he's strong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the last thing a boxer really wants to deal with. Fuck what you heard. That they can't train for that. That's why Floyd, in his career, he had the most problems, in my estimation, with like Maidana because of his wild brawling, and Maidana's strong and can punch. Augustus, another wild swinging brawler. These guys give boxers a hard time. And Tank can box, but what he does is he boxes a little and he looks for what he's good at. Cracking your skull. And I don't care if you're Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, or who you are, it's very unlikely you're going to get in there and fight that man for 12 rounds and he don't land some of them punches.
Mm-hmm.
You might outbox him a good bit, but all he needs is one. Now, I'm a Tank fan, but I've been on him for the last couple of years, really since the Ryan fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on with my man, but I hope he get his shit together and actually fight some of these fights,
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And I agree with you, but I like what you're talking about as far as the chaos, man, dealing with those kind of fighters, the Subriel Matias's, and even like most recently right now with the Nakatani and Sebastian Reyes fight that just happened. Just a difficult fight, right, for Junto to deal with somebody who's just going to step to you non-stop pressure like that. And styles make fights, man. And like you said, it doesn't matter who you are, man. Dealing with that type of energy, coming forward all the time, smothering everything you're trying to do. You saw and Billy give Lester Martinez a bunch of fits. I think Fabio Wardley kind of checks the boxes to a certain degree in the heavyweight division, although he's not as skilled as most of the fighters he gets in the ring with. The imminent danger, the pressure, right, of dealing with the puncher just makes that the biggest difference in these fights, man.
I mean, you just got to realize, man, you got to realize that those guys are typically the hardest guys to deal with because of their unconventional attack.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're strong, like, say, Pitbull or Tank, and they can punch hard, man, that just makes it all the more problematic for a boxer. So, but, sometimes the boxer will the skills will pay the bills, but you got boxers and then you got fighters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the best ones are usually the ones that are both, like a Bud Crawford or a Ray Leonard. They can do both, and they know when to do both.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of Ray's brilliance. But I do want to speak quickly on one other thing,
yes, sir.
And that's Turkey. When Turkey came in, everybody was all over him, man, just praising him up and down. And I said, whoa, pump the brakes there a little bit until we see what his motive is. Because, he's throwing a lot of money around and making fights. But we already know boxing is not in that kind of place, especially here in the States. Breaks my heart, man, because I've been a boxing fan for 40-plus years. And I've seen the best fighters of the modern era come and go, and boxing be real popular. But boxing's not popular right now, and it hasn't been for a while, and it ain't no secret. And it really, I don't know, people say, well, that's because the fights don't, well, yeah, the fights do get made. We got Spence, Crawford, we got Usyk, Fury, there's been Bivol and what's his name, which they said wouldn't happen. There has been big fights, and there's plenty of other ones. I don't know if it's a problem right now of that. It's something bigger. To me, boxing needs to come into the 21st century and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
time, and it just so happened that the UFC was actually red hot at the time. And what happened there left a whole generation of would-be boxing fans. And boxing still has this old format. When I see these shows where they have like a little rock concert or,
Wait, hold on a second. Not to cut you off. Hold on. I just want to check. I think the sound are we good now? Okay, we're good now. My bad. Sorry about that. We're good.
Yeah, you was good. I mean, you was off, but I can hear you guys.
I'm about to land the plane there, but thank you for the time. And I'm not trying to blame Mayweather. It's not his fault entirely, but you see what I mean? It's just like the younger generation, they don't watch boxing, and that's going to hurt any sport. If you can't attract the young fans, that's going to hurt. So I don't know how we get back. I don't know if Turkey's the answer, because careful what you wish for with him. If he gets full control like he wants it, then it's going to be his way and no other way, right?
Right. I agree with that, but
see his true colors, and he won't be throwing all that money around. From what I see already, he's already tightening up the purse strings. So he's been in about 3 years. That's a typical business model. After about 3 years, you started wanting to see a profit, and so I don't know if he's the answer.
I think.
But thanks for the time, buddy.
No doubt, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you calling again, man. You're my first phone call on the line right now. So we're growing and learn how to use it. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. What's your name?
Hey, is it? Go ahead.
I'm already subscribed. My name is Jerry.
Jerry,
They know me out here on these YouTube streets.
I know your voice. I've heard you other places before, for sure.
Yeah, I gotta get Mel sometimes, Clay. But I like your demeanor. You got a calm demeanor. I don't like to get all worked up, but sometimes that's what they do to me, and then they blame me, you know. But I'm no different than you or anybody else. I mean, if you come at me, I'm coming back.
Right.
But I'd rather just keep
Jerry.
and just state my opinion. Everybody, the popular thing is, oh, you're a hater. People want to call people haters. Man, it's the easiest thing in the world to do.
Right.
I don't hate none of these fighters, and I don't love any of them. I love the sport. I done seen the greatest of the greats. From Ali was the heavyweight champ when I first started watching boxing. Roy Jones, Ray Leonard, Hearns, all of them. You know what I'm saying? I love the sport.
Yeah, no, I agree. I appreciate that. I'm in the same spot as you, man. People get mad at me sometimes for sharing some opinions on things, and it's like, I don't hate nobody like that. I think it's easy to dismiss our perspective just based off of you call me a hater instead of really trying to argue the points and just call me a hater. I think it's just easy for you to do that. But it is what it is, right?
That's what they do, man. I mean, it's so overused. Oh, you're a hater. Nah, listen, man. I've been watching boxing too long. I used to take personal interest in the fighters. But right around the time Arturo Gatti was hot, I used to like Gatti. Gatti wasn't never the best fighter in any division he fought in, but he was entertaining, right? We know that. But I started hearing that Gatti would beat up his little Brazilian wife, beat her up, you know. And then I knew some people up in Jersey that were small-time fight promoters. People that knew him, and I got it on good account. He would do just that. And that man, you know, this is a professional prize fighter. Can you imagine beating up on a little 115-pound little woman, man? Yeah. Really beating on her. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to be rooting for these fighters anymore because it's just, you don't know if they're good or bad. The guys you think are good do shit like that, beat up people that are around them and bully them and beat on women and this and that. And then the ones you think are at.
Call from.
Nah.
Can you send a voicemail?
Clay, can you hear me, Clay?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. I gotta figure out how to. Yeah, hello?
You gotta do a multiverse, man. You need a multiverse. A multiverse live. You need a Doctor Strange over here.
Oh man, we missed the call, man. I wish. Hey, whoever the caller is, call back, man. I messed up, man. Call the line back, man. Looking forward to hear from you, man. I got to figure out how to deal with it. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Whoever you are, feel free to call back, man. It was just I fucked up, man. I might even hung up on you. Call back. Call the number back, man. It is what it is. But yeah, got to learn the mechanics of this, man. Appreciate you being patient with me, Adel. I know you were sitting there like, I know Clay trying to figure this shit out.
No, man. Listen here, it's all good. It's all good. I was getting entertained by Jerry though. Jerry, you still there?
Nah, Jerry's not, man. Jerry, I might have hung up on you by accident too. Feel free to call back. I try to put you on hold. I try to put the other call on hold in queue, but I think I messed up. I think I hung up on both of you guys. Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. We got another call coming in. Hold up.
Call from.
Salute, man. You're here on ATP Combat with Claymore. What's your name?
What's up, Claymore? This is Nas, man.
Walaikum salam, family. How you doing, family?
I'm good. That's me in the chat, 6109.
Okay. Oh, yeah, man. Thank you, man. Salute, man. Salute, man. A fellow Aki I see in the building, man. What's good with you, King?
Deserved. Nothing chilling, man. To the thing, to the show. So I really don't know the topic, but I heard y'all speaking on the whole Turkey and, well, I don't even know how to say Turkey, but the whole Zuffa situation. What's the topic though? But so I can keep it on track though. I don't know.
I mean, it's really just about 2020, 2025. I got my guy Del, another brother in faith, another Aki in the building. Adel, say what's up, though. Give him the what.
Assalamu alaikum. What's happening?
Oh, I can barely hear him, no, Clay. But I got him a little bit though, but I can barely hear him.
No doubt, man. Yeah, just 2025, man. Whatever your the standout moment of the year is. I mean, shout out to Jerry who's in here talking about Turkey going into 2026, and he seems to be a little bit leery of Turkey's motives, right? And how that's going to look now that he's getting more and more control over the space, and he's holding his opinion out for he's reserved on his opinion. He needs to see what this guy's going to do, man. It's going to be a big year of 2026 when it comes to Dana White and this whole TKO thing and what Turkey is also putting together. So that was one point of topping, and whatever you feel like talking about.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I can speak on that a little bit. I mean, man, look, I'm 28, so I'm young. I haven't, I've lived through as much boxing as I can watch. I love the sport. But look, let me say this: like, I don't know if I really want boxing and Dana White hands, right? Like, and that's all I'm saying, right? Because is it for the betterment of boxing as a whole? Like, because I don't believe in the whole statement that what they say, a rising tide lift all boats. I don't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it's one person getting rich and controlling everything while everybody else is left to finna get the scrap. So, but I just the way boxing is now, I think boxing is very unique. You know what I'm saying? It's I think it's funny how you do have people that be banging for promotional companies, PBC banging, Top Rank banging. I think that's real funny because it's not a situation where it's like the Patriots. I'm a Patriots fan, and it's not that. Boxing is something different. So I heard Coach Malachi talking about it, right? And I'm just interested, but I am interested to see how a Zuffa League will work. You know what I'm saying? I think competition is good, right? I'm an American, so I think it's good. I don't know, but I just don't like the fact. I think we talk about manufactured fighters in boxing a lot, right? I mean, we got to understand that's what Zuffa is going to do. They're going to manufacture a fighter, right? I mean, and Dana White is going to promote, right? I think boxing is missing the promotion that Dana White does, and he's going to promote, but that means he's going to manufacture a fighter. He's going to sell us a dream on a fighter, and he was just speaking about that, like somebody else was just speaking about that. That fighter may never be tested. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but the promotion, he might just put stuff promotion in our faces, and he might just manufacture a fighter. And I think, I don't know what the next 5 to 10 years of boxing going to look like. You already got people ducking in traditional boxing. So now when you have something like a Zuffa and they saying this man is the best, I don't know, man. I don't know. It might get crazy. But when it comes down to Turkey, I think overall he was a net positive in the year of 26. His cards were the best cards in 26, if you ask me. I mean, what'd you say, Clay? I think he had the best cards. What you think?
Oh, hands down. Yeah, we were doing the cards of the year when Greg was up here, and 4 out of the 5 cards that I had up there as cards of the year were Turkey cards, man. The David Benavidez, Anthony Yard card, the Edgar Berlanga, Hamza Shiraz, Shakur Stevenson Williams Zepeda card, Dimitri Bivol, Better BF2. I mean, yeah, man, you just go down. Obviously, even Terrence Crawford, obviously, Canelo Alvarez, right? All Turkeys. I mean, so Turkey's been involved in some of the biggest events in boxing for the past 2 years, to be honest with you, right? Not just this, but specifically this year and going into next year, even coordinating this Teofimo Shakur Stevenson card. That's going to be an epic one. So, I mean, he's just been working. Go ahead, Addo.
I think what's real interesting is, first of all, you got 3 Muslims up here that actually agree with, a Saudi promoter. And I don't think people on the outside of our politics understand that American Islam and community is different from Saudi Arabian Islamic community. So I hear a lot of people saying that stuff, like racist Teofimo Lopez saying, "Oh, When you go over there, they're Muslim and Muslim, so of course they're gonna just cheat them. We heard that from the other boxer father said that Shakur, you know what I'm saying, got an automatic win, just because it's like this Muslim thing that the Christian or Catholic community believes in. But we're actually the most skeptic people of Saudi Arabia when they come in, because we're American Islam, and we understand our politics. So just to let you guys know who don't understand our politics, we scrutinize even more than you guys when it comes to what Saudi brings to America, because we understand we have a deeper understanding of Saudi. It's not just Muslim. So for us to actually agree what Turkey is doing, we've already fine tooth combed better than you on a non-biased level. You're showing just your ethnic or religious bias if you go against what Riyadh is doing. You're just showing that's the card that you're playing way too quick, because we already fine tooth combed it for you guys to make sure that this ain't gonna be some dirt on a Muslim community. So we had to already see, okay, where is he coming from and where has he did it before? He went into music. That's why I talked about the horse track riding. I mean, he's been into entertainment. I mean, Riyadh has been everywhere as far as buying and investing into American sports. So yeah, I think Turkey is doing his thing, man, and it's gonna grow, and it's gonna make everybody step up their game. I'm tired of watching more combat on street beef YouTubes, okay?
No, but look,
Then with
Adam,
the
I think,
He's talking.
Adam, I think the biggest thing that you just said right now, which I want the people to try to wrap their mind around, is worst case scenario, in my personal opinion, is these promoters are going to have to step their game up. And we, as
thank you.
boxing fans, have been looking for them to do that for so long, to give us better fights, to fight a little bit harder, to keep our attention, right? And if it's going to take a Dana White and a Turkey entry into the game to spark a fire under their ass, you know what I'm saying? To
Yeah,
make them do what they should have been doing already, then so be it. I think the best case scenario is Zuffa Boxing creates more stars.
right,
Make Because you got to
right.
think about what comes with Zuffa Boxing. And I try to explain to people what comes with Zuffa Boxing is the production, the promotion, the stage for some of the young up and coming fighters who don't have access to that. Trust me when I tell you, you're getting way more exposure as a young fighter, as a Jaleel Hackett, for example, on a Zuffa stage where you have Nick Khan, who's going to be infusing WWE production. Try to wrap your mind around this production around boxing events, real fights. Brand will grow faster than fighting on a prelim card when nobody's in the building. You know what I'm saying? For a pay-per-view card that nobody's paying for and stealing, where you can watch him for free on a big stage where he's not going to get promoted as much as the event, but the side effect is he's going to get an opportunity to showcase his talents on the biggest stage and build a fan base for himself, fighting against the Vito Melneckis and these other fighters that nobody talks about because they're not the biggest stars in boxing. So the best case scenario is we're going to see more superstars come out of Zuffa. They'll be in 3-year deals, 5-year deals, however many fight deals, whatever it is that they coordinate. When they're done with those deals, in my opinion, their brand is going to be so much bigger that they're going to become bigger stars for Oscar De La Hoya to sign, or a Bob Arum, or Al Heyman, or Eddie Hearn. And you're going to start wanting to see these guys in the ring with your favorite fighters who aren't in Zuffa. That's what's going to end up happening. You're going to see there's going to be a fighter A in Zuffa who you're going to say hasn't been challenged, ain't been fighting the best, but you like what he's doing. And you're going to stylistically match him with some of the best fighters on the other side of the conversation. And one day, I believe, that's what Ring Magazine is going to provide. That's what the Ring provides with Turki Al-Sheikh, is that stage where you're going to see everybody come together. And you're going to see these better and bigger fights be made and bigger stars be made in the game. And it's just going to make the sport grow organically and naturally. I think it's going to be a good thing. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I go. Yeah, I mean, That would be the best thing, you know. And I was listening earlier. We were talking about you know, every promotion having their own belts or whatever. I mean, it's kind of like that now, right? Where every promotion has its kind of like is like, you know, for Golden Boy, right? It's Virgil Ortiz, right? That's their top athlete. So I mean, I can see that happening, right? Where not necessarily their own belts, but I don't know. These guys got to come together and they got to come up with some type of schedule. Maybe that's what Zuffa could do, like regulate the schedule where their champions are fighting the champions on the outside, like you said. I mean, I think, man, just go back to the conversation. 26 is going to look a lot different, but boxing needs the structure. And with Dana White, it's like Jake Paul, right? I don't like Jake Paul as a boxer, but Jake Paul, the promoter, like what Dana White brings out as a promoter, I do think it's going to be a net positive for boxing. That I can't deny. He's going to promote boxing and Zuffa. It's going to be a net positive for boxing.
Yeah, I think it will be. But I mean, get ready for growing pains. There's going to be issues. Things are going to happen. We're going to criticize what they did. They're going to be like, that's not right. We already started with we were supposed to get David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde for free. That went the other, you know what I'm saying? That went the other way. Fair criticism to Turkey for not honoring that. And obviously that's just going to have us under a straight up, we're going to have him even more under a magnifying glass, but that's our job as the boxing fans, is to keep it real, regulate, hold them accountable, and let them know that we're watching. And I think Turkey has proven in the past to react to our criticism and make the adjustments. So we'll look forward to seeing how he deals with it in 2026. Go ahead, Addo. My bad.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna let you land. And what's worse, having a fight that you have to pay for, or a fight never making it? Because we got a whole bunch of promoters that's not making fights. So your people are like, oh man, I had to pay for that fight. Yeah, but your fighter ain't fighting. So which situation do you rather be in? Paying the $40 or hopefully next year? Right. Because that's the type of situation that we're just opposing, you know. And yeah, I do believe, and Clay, this is where you know, you and Blue and the rest of you guys gonna have to, you know, choose a side also. You're going to have to choose whose career you're going to push with the narrative. Because the narrative is this fighter is, you know, part of the kings of the new up and coming, but you got 10 fights that you didn't even see that's on his record. That was probably in a ballroom or at AMC Theater, you know, in bathroom fights that we want to add on to the list. Like, no, we need to see all the fights that these guys are claiming to be on their record. Because I mean, all of a sudden, I just see these new guys coming with 15 wins, undefeated, and no one has any footage. Maybe some cell phone footage, you know. And this is something that needs to have an asterisk on these wins, because we need to see a visual of up and coming guys coming in. And I think that's the promoters. The promoters need their own channel. The promoters need to start paying some bills in some local gyms, putting some money in some gyms so they can have these type of fights. You know, help grow the community on the local end, because you see a whole bunch of guys like Eddie Hearn that's not connected to any local gyms. Yeah. And just want to come in, you know, with a face and say, okay, now I'm going to charge some money for this guy because after y'all done groomed him, you know, worked his way up to a high caliber fighter. Now he's on my squad and I'm going to charge you guys for it. But you didn't help us groom him. You didn't pay the bills to the coaches, the trainers, you know. So I think that's what we need to start doing also, is looking to see who's locally grown. You know, Terrence Crawford is a prime example, you know, coming from the same gym. You know, are these gyms getting up and coming fighters, and are we following them? So I think that the point that I'm making is, how can we start following these fighters better from their up and coming? Let's get more detailed and see if it is a genuine, organic person that we're watching that fought his way up there. and not a bunch of tin cans that you got 30 wins in Tijuana with people who was drunk on tequila right before they got in the ring with you. And that's what I think a lot of people are getting blown up records. So we're going to start scrutinizing. I'm going to start crashing out once Clay let me get up here. That's all I got to say.
Listen, man. All the above, man. And I think that's another thing that Zuffa's going to bring, man, is an opportunity for these for facilities to get put together. You know, the UFC, one thing that Dana, people can say whatever they want about Dana. You know, I mean, I'm not Dana's friend. I'm not here trying to defend Dana, but you know, the man definitely invested into the sport that he promoted, whether it was UFC facilities, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of boxers use to this day, you know, the best doctors, the best nutritionists, and he's giving fighters a way to become full-time fighters. A lot of these fighters that we're celebrating, we want to see them do great things, man. They're forced to work part-time jobs. Look at the guy Ramon Cardenas who just fought Monster Inoue. This dude was literally like, you know, I'm not saying he was an Uber driver, but he had some kind of job, you know what I'm saying? Or Josh Padley. These guys, what kind of fighter are we going to get when fighters are able to dedicate their lives at a younger age completely to boxing and not be distracted or having to do part-time jobs? What kind of quality of fighter is going to come out of that? There's just so many different moving parts.
Come on, you cooking, man, because as a pro athlete, I used to play football. We got paid. You know what I'm saying? Semi-pro. Not even pro yet. We got paid. Where's the gyms that are paying these semi-pro boxers? Let's put some money in these guys' pocket. Because there's some really good gyms.
They're paying the gyms and paying the
that's what I, yeah, that's what I mean.
To pay the damn trainer, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, we getting $100 million fights now, and you niggas is still not paying the streets that's grooming these fighters where they come from. Come on now, you guys are touching a billy now. You know, create a team, a semi-pro team in these Philly area. Y'all know Philly got them. Y'all know Philly got hands. DC got hands. You know what I'm saying? You know these hands are coming out of these environments. I want to see some semi-pro investment to say, hey man, we paying guys to fight. You know what I'm saying? They on a payroll. They make $1,000 a week or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We got people that we grooming, semi-pro. You know, don't make people work so hard to get up there.
I agree, man. It's gonna be interesting to see 2026 and how it happens. But Addo, it's about that time. I gotta get ready myself. To just
do your thing, man. Do your thing. Fiyam Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
No doubt, man. Inshallah, man. To 2026, man. Let's have an even better year, man. 100%, bro. Man, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time for me, man. Hit the like button if you haven't done so, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel, man. This is going to be a big year for us in 2026. Salute to the two people who called up here, man. That was awesome, man. That was the first phone calls, but hopefully the first of many in 2026. We're going to work on the phone system, make it better, more efficient, so that we're staying ahead of all these issues. We're growing together, man. Thank you guys, man, for 2025. Stand fast and stay here supporting 2026 is going to be that much of a better year, man. It's your boy Clay More Rain. This is the ATP Combat Media Show. Happy New Year's to everybody. Be safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. Until the next one, it's your boy Clay. It's that ATP Combat. And at this point, we out.
Make it this far, they hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball, I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say, I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitted for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing.
what we doing. Cause it can get bigger for us. Cause it can get bigger for us. Bigger for us. Cause it can get bigger for us.
Ay, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Ay, I can never let up even if you had enough. Ay, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat in submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk, I just show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play it safe.
Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing.